At the end of time.
O'clock.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Wednesday night. Time once again for the main show. And this is another true crime one. This is actually a case, I hadn't heard about this case. One of you guys recommended this. I can't remember who it was that did it. But y'all recommended it in the chat. And it won in the poll. And this is actually a very interesting case. I call it the strange disappearance. I don't know if it's necessarily that strange because here's the thing. Spoiler alert. This woman disappeared in 2001. She is almost certainly dead. She was actually declared dead in 2006. And they're pretty sure they kind of know what happened to her, but they can't prove it. You know what I'm saying? And they still don't know where her body is, even this many years later. So we'll kind of get into it, but it is like a really interesting case. And I was surprised because there was like a lot of other like documentaries and like other YouTube videos about it and stuff like that. So
I've never heard of this case.
I don't know how this like flew under my radar.
Yeah, I've never heard of this one.
But yeah, so I'm glad like one of you guys recommended it because this was a really interesting case to look into. So hey, everybody's here. Mango's here. CB's here. Sebastian's here. Phantom's here. Tammy's here.
Yeah.
CB said Jenny's looking sexy tonight. Well, thank you very much.
That's on every night.
Well, thank you, Tom. That was very nice of you to say. Yeah, we were talking about how the blue wigs are always the most successful, I feel.
Yeah, blue and light blue.
Every time I wear a blue wig out, everybody's like, man, that blue hair looks so good on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess it's like...
Your skin tone.
I guess it goes well with my skin tone, I guess.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it, because I always had black hair or red hair. But when I started wearing blue wigs, everybody's just like, ooh, they just like it so much. I don't really know. Phantom said, just saw Terrifier 3. It was pretty decent, better than the third, I guess the second one. My favorite part was the bar scene when the Art pees on Santa's lap and spits the drink in his face. Oh, okay. We'll probably end up going to see that, but...
What I think is funny is that cheap-ass Terrifier 3 is kicking the shit out of fucking Joker 2. I think it's like the top film right now. Terrifier 3.
Well, yeah, everybody was really looking forward to. I mean, that's like so funny that Terrifier just kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah. I mean, I know that Art the Clown, that character came from All Hallows Eve, that anthology movie.
Yeah.
Like before the first Terrifier came out. But yeah, like he really kind of came out the gate and for some reason became like this huge fucking
and I think
icon.
I think it's an independent film, isn't it? That studio?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Goes to show you where all the talent is nowadays. Although I have heard that Joker 2 is a masterpiece. That it went over the heads of the normies, but I don't know. I can't prove that yet.
Well, I haven't.
My buddy Brian said that from
I
Hollywood.
haven't seen it, so
yeah.
So
Brian Hackett said that. And
wouldn't be the first time that
he
happened.
he wasn't the only guy that said that. There's a veteran guy that does his own comics. Does a comic series called Iron Sights. And he saw it. And he loved it, and he says it was a masterpiece, but that it went over everybody's head because it wasn't what they wanted. But you know. Whatever. I think the fact because the Joker gets killed in it.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. They didn't like that. You know. Which you're never supposed to kill off a Joker.
Right. Well.
But I think in the scope of the story, that Joker was not the real Joker. A copycat takes over, and that's the Joker that fights Batman. In other words, he was inspired by this. I don't know. That was what they kind of said.
I mean, I still want to see it. Because, like I said, I don't usually.
I just want to pay to see it.
I don't usually listen to like other people's opinions about movies anyway, because I don't usually give a shit about other people's opinions because they're usually bad. But
yeah.
I mean, if I usually will go along with like, particularly horror movies, if I'm looking for something to watch, then I'll kind of go with like the horror community. If everybody says like this is a good movie, then okay, I'll watch that one just because I don't want to waste time like with a bunch of shitty stuff. But honestly, like I've had cases where. Some people were like, oh, they hated this movie so much that I watched it. I'm like, what are you talking about? That was fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like I said, other people aren't me, so you can't really tell me if the movie's good or not until I fucking see it.
Well, I don't. As soon as I heard that they killed Joaquin, what's his name? What's Joaquin Phoenix's fucking Joker? They killed that guy in it at the end of it. I was like, oh, that was a bad idea. That made me not want to see it.
I'm not really bothered one way or the other.
Yeah, I think he did a great job in the first one, and I think he established that character, and I would have run with it. Well,
maybe they were just like, look, we're not making another one, all right? So
yeah, must be.
Leave us alone.
Yeah, must be.
Mego said Terrifier 3 is great fun, but very brutal. Well, yeah, I mean, all of them
It's supposed to be. They're all like
It's supposed to be, and and now he's kind of gotten into a thing where, like, everyone he makes, he has to, like, up the ante, like, every single time. Although, honestly, the second one, it wasn't as gory as I was expecting. Like, because everybody was just, like, creaming their pants about how gory it was, and I was just like, well, okay. It had a couple scenes in it that were pretty gory, but it didn't. Nothing that was.
Jen's immune to that anyway.
Nothing that really like ruffled my feathers at all.
No,
but
I'm kind of immune to to film gore also.
Yeah, I'm not. No. Well, I've said this before. Like gore, you can make gory shit all day long, and it doesn't bother me. Shit that bothers me is like like human centipede kind of shit, like shit, vomit, like that kind of stuff. That's gross. But it's just gore. You can do whatever the fuck.
The only thing I couldn't watch is that Cannibal Holocaust when that dude took that fucking blunt stick and stuck it.
Well, that was real animal cruelty,
real live Quadamundi. It's like, oh no, fuck this. That shit wasn't cool. I didn't like that little creature begging. It's just like,
that was horrible.
I can't see this shit.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and I have a hard time with even like fake cruelty to animals in movies. I'm just kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't really like rape scenes, but I mean I'll watch them, but they kind of bother me. But gore it can be like super super gory, and it doesn't bother me at all. It's mostly just like stuff around like shit or something that
doesn't bother me. Like fucking human centipede.
That kind of that.
The human centipede. I was laughing.
It doesn't bother me. It just like grosses me out. Like makes me want to gag.
I was tripping the fuck out over human centipede because I didn't get any spoilers. I saw that not knowing what I was getting into.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You didn't even hear the one sentence synopsis, like sewing people together mouth to anus.
No, I saw it like on. I think they played that on Netflix or something when I got it, and I just this is even before I met you, and I didn't know anything. I just human centipede. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That sounds good.
That sounds like something
horror
I
movie
want to watch.
I looked at that shit. When that crazy ass doctor showed that drawing of the intestinal tract going through all those people and shit, goes, this motherfucker's crazy.
You're like,
but I was riveted. I had to see what was going to happen first. And he put the Japanese guy in the front.
How's this gonna go?
He put the Japanese guy in the front. The fucking centipede. That was fucking funny, man.
I mean,
but just the thing is, that movie's not to be taken seriously. It's,
obviously. Well, like I said, if I start thinking about like people eating poop and stuff like that, then I'm just kind of like I'm gonna just start gagging and not stop. So it's better probably.
Well, with the dude that played the scientist was fucking awesome, man. They were definitely they were kind of like satire and fetish.
Yeah,
it was definitely fetish. So I was.
I'm already. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was already familiar with all that, so I was like, I knew what angle they were coming at it.
Yeah. I think like last night.
It was a fetish fantasy.
Last night we actually ended up watching. Oh, we were kind of excited because The Keep from 1983 was on YouTube for free, like with ads. And I was like, oh, I've been wanting to watch this because, like, if you watch my book reviews, I did a book review of it like a couple months back, and so the book was pretty fresh in my mind. But I hadn't seen the movie adaptation in a long time, and so we watched that. Pretty slow. That film. It's pretty close to the book. Because I was telling Tom, just like, oh, in the book, this, that, and the other thing. Although, in the book, it was kind of more clearly a vampire.
Yeah.
Or it's actually like a Moroi, like, or whatever you want to call it, which was kind of like a proto-vampire type of thing. But it's like in the movie, they kind of made it more like Thanos. It looked like
saw
Thanos
it a long time ago, I had a bootleg, like, VHS copy of it. I used to watch it in Brazil back in the 80s, I was still living with my parents and shit. And I liked the movie back then. But watching it today is very slow.
It is very slow.
What is good about it, though, is it has excellent costumes, good World War II German equipment and vehicles in it. It showed, like, the problems between, like, the German army and the SS. They did things differently. And there's a damn monster in it.
Yeah.
And they get involved, It's a good story. I never knew it was a vampire. Jen had to tell me that.
That's in the book. It's a vampire.
Yeah, I thought it was a demon.
Well, it's kind of like a quasi vampire.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, back in those days, I was watching it. I thought it was a demon.
Right.
I didn't know it was supposed to be a vampire. it had a real good soundtrack. Or the Tangerine Dream did the music.
Dream did the music.
And the soundscapes were pretty good. Problem with it was that the YouTube copy of it, it's fucking
the sound mix is atrocious.
Yeah, the sound mix.
You could barely hear.
Got to send this shit to Brian, have him redo the sound.
You could barely hear the dialogue.
Couldn't hear him talking. And
So
then
it's
you
like,
could turn it way up, and then when the commercials come on, it fucking blast your fucking eardrums out.
I mean,
so
we had the captions on.
Yeah, so we just put the captions on, kept it low. Fuck it.
It's like, we can't hear what you bitches are saying anyway.
But it was a British American joint movie. But you can see it for free on YouTube.
It's star studded, man. Like fucking Gabriel Byrne is in that
all-star
shit.
cast,
Like fucking Jorgen what's his name? Jorgen Prochnow, whatever his name is. Fucking Scott Glenn was in that shit.
Yeah. What happens is the SS, it was the Wehrmacht troops. They're in this damn keep. And they're looking at it, and all the fucking little blocks are on the outside, and all the big blocks are on the inside of it. And they realize it's not to keep anything out, it's to keep stuff in. And there's these things that look like silver kind of T's, look like a T, not a cross, but a T. But they were all nickel except one, and these dudes pried it out, and it releases a fucking vampire. And it kills those two dudes, and it looks like just a smoke cloud. And it leaves something scribbled on the wall, and it looked like some ancient Romanian type language. So nobody could read it. So the SS brought this Jewish guy in who was on his way to the concentration camps with his daughter. And he could read that stuff. They had him read it. And it said, I'm free. It says, now I'm free, I think is what it said. And he ends up meeting this vampire and trying to get in with this vampire. And vampire fucking tells him that if you let me out, I'll destroy Hitler and the Nazis. It doesn't work out, though. So
yeah, that's pretty much exactly like the book. Like he's trying to like befriend
he's
monster.
befriending this vampire, and he says, "You let me out of here, and I'll kill the Nazis and get all the Germans out of here, and I'll go to Berlin and kill you. Look for what he's done to my people and all this." It didn't quite work out that way. So it's a pretty good movie. It's just kind of slow.
Yeah, it's very arty, and I kind of feel like if I hadn't read the book, if you hadn't read the book, I don't really know. I mean, I guess you could still follow it, but it is kind of vague. You know what I mean? In spots. Yeah, Mango said one day we may get the original cut of it, which is much longer. Yeah, the director's cut is supposedly a lot better.
Yeah.
But it's never been released.
Yeah.
Phantom says, I came across a pretty decent version of Phantom of the Opera from 1998 starring Julian Sands. Yeah, that was the Dario Argento one. That actually is a pretty decent... That was a better...
Haven't seen it.
Dario Argento later movie, because, anybody that knows anything about Italian horror knows that Dario Argento's later stuff was not good. I mean, I would argue that Stendhal Syndrome from, I think that was 96, that was good. But most of his movies after that, not so great. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that Phantom of the Opera was pretty good. Pretty good. Like, very shitty was one called The Card Player. I hated that one. And, that Dracula 3D or whatever. Oh my god, that was fucking horrible. That was like his worst. And he made one like last year or the year before called Dark Glasses, which was okay. Like I did a review of it. It's a giallo. And it was better than I was expecting, but it still wasn't that great. And it didn't really even look like a Dario Argento movie, honestly. Like it kind of could have been directed by anybody. And his daughter's in it. She was good in it though. But yeah. Yeah, Xana said YouTube will drop a gem in the free movie section every now and then. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Because like last night we're like, what should we watch? And Tom's like, oh, like they put The Keep on YouTube today for free.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh shit, well we should watch that because I want to rewatch it. Because I think we wanted to review it before, but it wasn't available streaming anywhere.
It has a very good authentic feel to it. Feels very European.
Yeah. I think it was mostly shot in Wales, and I think the interiors they shot at Shepperton Studios in London. But yeah, it's like. It's it's a cool ass movie. It's a cool ass movie. Like I said, the book's way better, but what are you gonna do? All right. So, do you want to get into this case? It's not super complicated, but it's like that's kind of why I like doing the true crime stuff because it's a lot more like straightforward. But we'll see how you feel about this. Like I said, I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure that I know what happened to this woman, but and I feel like most people are too. But the fact that they haven't found her, I kind of wonder about that. Like, where the fuck is she? You know what I mean? It's been this long and they haven't found her. So, Patti Adkins. Now, she's I think she's about, or she would have been, if she hadn't been allegedly murdered in 2001. She would have been my age, because I think she was also born in 1972. Now, this happened all in Marysville, Ohio. Now, she had been married at one point, but she had divorced. Now, her and her ex-husband were on very good terms. I believe after she disappeared, her ex-husband was questioned and stuff like that, but, you know, he was had an alibi and never would have done anything like that. But anyway, the two of them had a daughter named McKaylee, and she's grown now. She was 7 at the time that her mom disappeared. But if you watch any documentaries about, because I think like ABC or whatever, their 48 Hours or whatever the show is, they did a thing on this, and they had the daughter and they're like talking, and she's grown now. And she did really well, thankfully, but you know, it's pretty shitty to like have your mom disappear when you're 7 years old, you know what I mean? And especially because it was a single mother. So by all accounts, she was a lovely person. At the time she disappeared, she actually had like a pretty decent job. She was working as a supervisor at the Honda factory there in Marysville, and was actually up for a promotion. And according to all her friends and family, and this will become clear later on, she was actually really good with money. She had like a lot of money saved, and you know, so she was doing pretty good, like for a single mom, you know. So it's the summer of 2001, and this Honda factory in particular, they would close down for a week right around 4th of July. So everybody could have a week off, like in the summertime, like for a vacation. Now, what Patti was planning to do on this week off was she was going to go on vacation to Canada with her boyfriend. Now, this boyfriend was one of her co-workers. Like, he worked in a different section than her, I think. Like, she wasn't his direct supervisor or nothing like that. However, this boyfriend was also married and had kids. She wasn't married. She was divorced, but he was married and had kids. Now, according to her and everybody she told about this, she didn't tell everybody about it. Like, but most people at work didn't really know about it because they kind of kept it on the DL. But she told her sisters and a couple of her close friends about it, so they knew. But she basically was like, they had been seeing each other for at least a year, maybe more. And she considered him her soulmate. And he told her that him and his wife were on the outs, and he was going to leave his wife soon. They were going to get divorced. He just had to like make sure that all his financial ducks were in a row so she didn't take him to the cleaners, blah, blah, blah. Tale as old as time.
Yeah, the old I'm leaving my wife story.
If some dude tells you that, do not believe it ever. It is always a lie.
80% chance he's lying.
I would say 98% chance.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
Just
like,
say, call me back when she's gone.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, if you really like the dude and you could just be like, okay, well, when your divorce is final, you call me back. Yeah, like,
unless they're separated, especially if the wife has a boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, that's different because obviously they're working on it. Mm-hmm. But that was not the case here, I don't believe.
Yeah.
As we will see.
If he doesn't introduce you to his wife, there's a problem. No, because if they were really on the outs, he would have no fear of fucking showing you.
That's what I mean. It's like, and she would probably back him up. She'd be like, I hate this motherfucker.
Yeah,
like,
right. Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck.
You take
fun.
him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Take him off my hands. I'm sick of looking at his face. So yeah. But I don't think that was the case here. And I kind of feel like, because her sisters were on some of these shows and stuff too, and they were just... They're like, look, we told her... They didn't say, obviously, because she's a grown-up. She was like 29 years old at this point. And they're like, look, we can't tell you what to do. You're a grown-ass woman. But this is probably a bad idea. You know what I mean? You probably shouldn't get involved with a married dude and who's telling you, I'm going to leave my wife for you and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And as we'll discover, she did like some other... stuff too that she probably shouldn't have done, but like I said, her sisters were like, what are you gonna do? She's a grown-ass woman. Like, we told her we thought it was a bad idea, but she loved the guy. She thought it was like her soulmate or whatever.
Yeah, Jen, you know what, that length of hair looks great on you. If you want, I'll cut your hair that length.
I'll wait until, because I'm gonna grow out the shaved bit.
Yeah.
It'll probably make more sense to grow out the shaved bit and then cut it all short, because
yeah.
then it would all be the same length.
Yeah, you could do it that way too.
So, because I was thinking about doing
that's
that
a good
anyways.
length. Yeah, that's a good length. That looks good.
Yeah, but I always kind of feel like every time I cut it short, I'm always like, why the fuck did I do that? Because now my head looks like a bowling ball. But
you got to cut it right, and everything's got to be layered right.
Yeah.
So it has volume.
Yeah.
I'll do some research on it. I got all those damn fucking power tools and shit for that, clippers and stuff.
Power tools.
Yeah.
He's gonna be cutting my hair.
Yeah.
With power tools.
I got little clippers and trimmer clippers and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. So Patti tells her sisters, and I guess like a couple of very close friends, that her and this boyfriend, I'm not gonna say his name. I know what his name is. But the media tries to not say his name because he's pretty Sue happy. Okay? Mm-hmm. Like if anybody says anything about how he probably maybe allegedly killed this woman, he gets like a little upset about it. So most media try to like cover their own asses and either use a pseudonym or don't say his name at all. But it's not too hard to find his name. I know what his name is, but I'm not going to say what it is. I'm just going to call him, I don't know, we'll just call him fucking Dave or something like that, okay? Like, no offense to any Daves out there, but that was the first name I thought of. So we'll just call him Dave. That's not his name. So she tells her family, she's like, okay, me and Dave are going to Canada for a week, and we're going to this cabin, like up in the woods or whatever, and we're going to stay up there. So the day before she was supposed to leave, which was June 28th, 2001. That was the day before. She had cats, and so she took them to the kennel, like to board them or whatever. And then she took her daughter, McKaylee, to stay with her sister, Marcia. And I think the daughter would go back and forth between Marcia and the parents and stuff like that, like while she was gone for a week. So she's like, okay, I'll be back to pick up my daughter on July 8th. That's when she was supposed to come back. So the day of the trip, June 29th, 2001. Now, she was working that night. She actually worked second shift. She worked until, I think it was 4 to midnight, or whatever second shift is. But she worked till midnight anyway. That was like when she got off work. So she was apparently like super excited and was kind of in a rush to leave. They have her clocking out that night at 12:19 a.m. And they said that was a little bit unusual because normally she was the last one to clock out. She was like the supervisor, like in that area. But like this night, she was one of the first ones to clock out. Like she clocked out like earlier than normal. Now she still had her uniform on, so she goes out to the parking lot. Now, because her and Dave had been wanting to keep their relationship a secret from all of the co-workers, which they apparently had been pretty successful in doing, their plan was, he had driven this truck to work. It was his truck, but he didn't usually drive it to work. You know what I mean? I think he usually caught a ride with somebody else or drove another vehicle or whatever. So he drove this truck to work, and it had a new, what do they call that? The tonneau cover? Like the cover that goes over the back of the bed? Yeah.
Bed cover.
Yeah, like
I guess.
Yeah, I think it's called a tonneau cover.
All right.
And so he had bought one of those like 3 days prior to the trip and had put it over the back. And the plan was, because he had given another dude a ride to work that day, and he didn't want anybody to know that that Patti was in the back of the truck. So she was supposed to get in the back of the truck under the bed cover and like hide back there while he dropped the other dude off. Because she had actually gotten a ride to work too, so she wouldn't have to leave her car at work. So she left her car at home, like in the garage. So apparently that's what happened. Like she goes out and hides in the bed of the truck, like under this thing, and then Dave, the dude we're calling Dave, evidently goes and drives this other friend, like his other coworker, and drops him off at work. Now, so here's the thing. I kind of feel like, remember how I said like at work, and this is gonna be kind of a thing later on, because like whether they were actually like in a relationship or not. I mean obviously I think they were, but some people didn't know, because they said at work nobody really knew about it. They said they weren't like flirty or anything like that. They said, yeah, she talked to him a lot, but she talked to a lot of people a lot. She was a supervisor, you know what I mean? So, so it wasn't like unusual for her. So nobody was really like thinking, oh, those two are up to something. Like apparently, as far as I know, like the only people that said about it later on were like her sisters and her friends and stuff because she had told them about what was going on. So, but they weren't like super flirtatious or sneaking out in the car on their lunch hour or anything like that.
So it wasn't that hot, actually.
I mean, I guess
It'd be
not.
more hotter if they were going out in front of their lunch break, fucking tearing it up in the car.
That's what I mean.
Posting that shit up on fucking Instagram or something crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. But apparently they were very circumspect about this affair they were having, and they didn't want anybody, and they were pretty responsible about like not getting caught, I guess. So now another thing that transpired after she disappeared was that she had actually given, over the course of the year, however long they had been seeing each other, she gave him about $90,000.
What?
Like, not all at once, but like in bits.
She must have been loaded.
Well, she depleted all of her savings accounts. She took some cash advances against her credit cards, and she also borrowed a bunch from her 401k. Like, she had a bunch of money in her 401k from work, because like I said, she had a good job and she'd been there for like 10 years or something.
This dude was slinging some serious dick, man.
I know, I was like, God, what
How the fuck do you get $90,000 out of a woman like that? How do you live with yourself?
His excuse was,
yeah,
I mean, because he had a job too. Obviously, he worked at the plant. But he's like, well, me and my wife own a business together. Yeah. And I want to buy her out.
I gotcha.
So that she won't take it from me, like, when I divorce her. That was his excuse, apparently. You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
That's what Patty said. And then he'd be able to make
all that money back. None of this was true?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he was just trying to scam money out of her. But that was the story that he gave her, was that, oh, I need this money because otherwise, you know, my wife's gonna like take me to the cleaners and like take me to for everything I've got. So we have to do this on the DL. Like, give me this money in cash, and I'll buy her out.
And then we'll make this money back.
And then we'll make this money back. Right.
Yeah,
like I think that's like what he And it also so happened that because she had borrowed some of that money, like, against her 401k, like, you can't just, you got to start paying that back. You know what I mean? You got to pay that back because you're just taking out a loan against your 401k. Yeah. So evidently, right before this whole escapade where she was crawling in the back of his truck underneath the bed cover, she had told him, hey, you know, in July, I have to start paying those loans back. Right? Like, she had told him that. So that's
she needed a monthly payment.
That's just a little, So that's just a little bit of information.
How much you bet that's when she went missing?
Well, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. So here's the thing. So before she left, like I said, she didn't know exactly where they were going. She said, we're going up to Canada to this little cabin. And it's really remote, so there's no cell service, coincidentally. And also, it's, you know, so it's like, so I won't be able to call you guys, but it'll be okay. You know what I mean? And the boyfriend, Dave, had also told her that don't pack anything because we'll buy everything you need once we get there. Which seems a little strange.
That's weird.
Now, she did take something with her. Apparently, she had bought some sexy blue lingerie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and put it in a little duffel bag or whatever. Yeah. Nobody saw it, but she described it. Yeah, she's like, oh, I brought this little something something. And she's going to take that with her. But she didn't take anything else. Like, all of her shit was, like, still in her house, like, later, after she went missing. So, yeah, there's that. So she gets in this fucking truck. And the two of them evidently, happily, drive off to this supposed remote cabin in Canada somewhere. Now, it will surprise no one that Patti Adkins was never seen alive again. Now, nobody thought anything of it at first because, like I said, remember she told her family and stuff, oh, there's no cell service where we're going. We're just going to go to this remote cabin or whatever. And so they weren't alarmed, like when they didn't hear from her for a week, right? They didn't become alarmed until July 8th, which is when she was supposed to come back and pick up her daughter. Because her sister, Marcia, was just like, there's no fucking way that she would leave it. So, like, her daughter was like her whole life. Like, she would not leave that kid. Like, when she said she was going to come pick her up, there's just no way. So the sister started to get, like, kind of suspicious. Now, the sister, knowing about the boyfriend, she straight up, and she's a G, I'm going to tell you right now. She straight up called his house.
Yeah.
Like, I guess she found his phone number or something like that somewhere. And, or maybe Patti had given it to her. I don't really know. But she straight up called his house. Now, the first time she called on July 8th, his wife picked up the phone.
Yeah.
And said, oh, he's not here. You know, or he's not, you know, he's not around or whatever. And so the sister, Marcia, was like, well, I kind of felt better then because I was like, oh, well, maybe both of them, you know, are coming back and they were just late coming back. You know what I mean? So she wasn't, like, alarmed. But then, like, several more hours go by and Patti still has not returned. So she calls the house again. And I think what she did was she, as kind of a ruse, she called not saying, hey, I'm Patti's sister. She called because it was their business phone.
Right, yeah.
And so she called saying she was like a customer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, like, once she got him on the phone, she's like, oh, by the way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she calls, and the second time, Dave picks up the phone. And she basically says to him, she's like, hey, I'm Patti's sister. Like, where the fuck is she? You know what I mean? And she says, that motherfucker straight up said, Patti.
Yeah, who's that? Yeah.
I don't know. What, Patti from the Honda plant? She's like, yeah. Oh, I barely know her. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he acted like he totally did not know her. So he's like,
right.
And she was like, oh my God, you motherfucker. It's like, you guys have been, like y'all are having an affair, right? And then, so he's there, and his wife was, like, standing right there. And they're like, no, you are mistaken. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like, look, I barely know her. I've been home all week. And the wife back, yeah, he's been here all week, like, just doing chores around the house and shit like that. Like, he didn't leave. He didn't go to Canada. What are you talking about? And she said it was so weird because they were both, like, super calm. And she's like, look, yo, like, if somebody called me at night and said, hey, your husband is having an affair, not only that, but maybe possibly killed the person, like, I don't think... She's like, the wife would not be calm. She'd be like, what the fuck, motherfucker? You know what I mean? It's like you'd think. But it's like, no. They were both totally calm.
People don't always react the way you think
I guess,
that they
but
would.
Still.
Could have been that... Well, what if that he's innocent? And he was there the whole time, as the wife said. You know what I mean?
Well...
And then she's just like...
As it goes... No. Well, we'll see how that
goes.
Okay.
Okay. So she's lying? The wife is lying?
I'm not really sure. Once I get through all the facts...
Why would she cover for his ass?
That's what I mean. Once we get through all the facts, I'm not real sure how I stand on the wife at this. It's like, we'll get into that later. But, like, once we know all of the stuff. Because I'm not really sure where the wife is coming from. You know what I mean? Maybe she doesn't know jack shit. I don't know. But... Yeah.
Now, do they have proof that she transferred money to him in his account?
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
I'll get to that.
All right.
But, so yeah, so the sister, she's like, it was so weird. So it's like this whole conversation, and she's just like, I just felt like a horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. She's like, I know something bad happened to my sister. And she's like, and she was so upset about it. She couldn't sleep or anything like that. She calls the motherfucker again at like 2 a.m. or something like that, and says, did you kill my sister? She called her and called him and said that. And he was like, man, I don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like acted totally fucking innocent. Like he had no idea. He barely knew her. It's like, I just know her from work. It's like, I've only seen her before. I'm not having an affair, whatever. I don't even know her. All of this other kind of stuff, right? So she's just like, and she's like, when he denied knowing her, it's like, she's like, I knew my sister's dead. She said that's the first thing that she thought. You know, she just like, I just had this horrible feeling. So, yeah. So here's the thing. Like, they searched her house, which looked totally normal. Like, all of her shit was there, her car was there, it hadn't been broken into, like, nothing looked strange or anything like that. It looked totally normal. She had actually had a hair appointment for, like, a day or two after she was supposed to come back. Obviously, she didn't show up for that. And, like I said, her whole entire family and friends and stuff like that said no way in a million years, like, would she leave her daughter behind? Like, she wouldn't just take off, you know what I mean? So...
But she did. She went with him.
Well, she did. Well, yeah, but she was supposed to come back after a week, though.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody knew she was going. She's like, yeah, I'm going on a trip with my boyfriend.
Okay.
Like, but she was supposed to come back after a week. They're saying she wouldn't just, like, go off by herself or with somebody else that they didn't know.
I wonder if he killed her immediately or he enjoyed the holiday with her.
I'm not really sure. So, yeah. So, here's the thing. Now, the cops, because the sister is like, fuck, I'm reporting her missing, obviously, as you would. So, the cops question the boyfriend. And the boyfriend said, yeah, I drove my truck to work that day. And I did drop my friend off. Like, I gave him a ride home. But she wasn't in the back of this. Like, I barely know her. And his excuse was because his wife said he got home at 2:30 in the morning. And the cops were like, well, you left work at, like, midnight, though. So where the fuck were you, like, all that time? And he said, oh, me and my friend, we drove, I think it was 30 miles or something like that, like, from where the plant was to where he lived. And it's like, me and my friend drove to a Burger King. And we went in the drive-thru to get some food, and we were in the drive-thru for 45 minutes. And they interviewed the manager of that Burger King. Yeah. And it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. It's like, there's nobody here. It's like, there's no way that you would wait 45 minutes in the drive-thru. It's like, there's nobody here. You know what I mean? So that sounded kind of sus. You know what I mean? So there was that. And... So, and the wife is also and she also said, because they interviewed her too also, and she was like, oh, well, he would never have time to have an affair. Like, he just goes to work and he comes home. Like, he's not gone. There's no time that he's not unaccounted for. You know what I mean? Sure. Like, that she doesn't know where he's at.
When he's at work.
Well, yeah, I'm like, that's a whole chunk of the day, or actually afternoon and night, that he's unaccounted for. It's like, he could be doing all kind of fucking
Weren't they
shit.
going underneath the fucking pickup truck bed? Isn't that what you said?
Well, she hid under there so the co-worker wouldn't see her.
Okay.
That's what the...
How much about they were fucking underneath there, too?
Well, they might have... Well, no, he only had that... He only bought that 3 days prior, they found out.
Okay, all right.
So he didn't have that the whole time. And they said he didn't usually drive that truck to work. That's why they thought it was a little sus that he did drive that truck to work that particular day with that thing on it that he had just bought. They asked him why he bought it, and he said, oh, I was covering up my fishing stuff. But then they said that he only had that truck cover on for like another week, and then he took it, like, then he rolled it up and put it in the fucking garage or something. And they're like, well, why'd you fucking buy it if you're just going to leave it on there for a week and then roll it back up?
To hide the body.
So, you know what I mean? Well, no, because they found the cover. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? Which
maybe at one time he transported her dead underneath there, though.
We'll get into that. Yeah. Yeah. So, here's the thing. So, the cops go to his house. They said, we didn't need a search warrant. He let us search the property.
Yeah, because he knew there was no evidence there.
Now, well, interesting, though. Like I said, they did find the truck cover, and they asked him about that. He had bought it on the 26th, which, like I said, was 3 days before they left. And he removed it on July 8th, which is, like, when they were supposed to come back from Canada. They're like, well, why did you only have it on for that long? And he didn't really have a good fucking story for that, I guess. Now, they took the truck cover for analysis. And even though he said that he didn't know Patti hardly, that they weren't having an affair, that she'd never been in his truck, blah, 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 on this truck cover, they found cat hairs. And they sent these cat hairs to a DNA lab that specialized in, like, animal DNA and stuff like that. And these cat hairs belonged to Patti's cats. So they're like, well, that proves she was probably in the truck because the hairs transferred from her clothing, probably. So that story seemed like it was adding up. You know what I mean? They also found a tiny, tiny spot of blood. Now, when I was watching the documentary, one of the guys said, it's like, it was so small. It's like, you know when you swat a mosquito? Like, that much blood? It's like, it was that much. Yeah. And he's like, and so this was like 2001, and the lab told us, it's like, look, we can't do that because it's like, you know, if it would destroy, like, it's not enough. You know what I mean? Because it's just like a tiny spot, and that was all they found on there. So they didn't test it, like, whose it was. But the fact that they found those cat hairs, and those cat hairs were almost definitely, you know, belonged to Patti's cats, that at least proved that she was in his truck, right? It doesn't prove that he killed her or anything like that, but it does prove maybe that she was in that truck when he said that he didn't know her. You know what I mean? Now, they also searched his house, and even though there was nothing in there, like, murdery, like, they didn't find a big blood stain or anything like that, however, they did find some stuff that corroborated her version of events, like they were having a relationship. One of the things they found was a Hard Rock Cafe Miami shirt, and the sister said, I was with Patti when we were in Miami at the Hard Rock Cafe, and she bought him this, like, as a gift. They found it in the house. And so they asked the wife about it, and she's like, oh, I don't know where that came from. Like, I didn't see him buy that or nothing like that. So that kind of was corroborated because the sister said, yeah, I was with her when she bought him that shirt. They also found a birthday card to him from her. And he was trying to spin it like, oh, well, that was just like a work birthday card. Like, you know, everybody signed it or whatever, but she signed it. It was just from her. They also found a letter from her to him, in which she was talking about, you know, wanting to be with him and all this other kind of... So it was like a love letter. So they found that. So now they're just kind of like, okay, you said you didn't know this chick, and yet there's this stuff in your house that's corroborating what she said, like, to her sister and friends, that you guys had a relationship, right? So they find that. He doesn't really have a good... I mean, he's just basically just saying, I barely knew her. Now, here's the thing. Remember how I said that she gave him like $90,000? Okay, so they checked her bank records, and it was very clear, like, $90,000 coming out from various places. Like I said, she got some from the credit cards and some from the savings account and everything like that. However, they checked his bank accounts, and there were no deposits. So they couldn't prove it, because I suspect, and I think that she had told this to her sisters too before she disappeared, that because his story was, oh, well, I need this to be, I don't want to leave a paper trail, because if my wife finds out that I'm trying to get all this money and buy her out, like, before I divorce her, what if she'll freak out? So I think he asked Patti to give him the money in cash, so it would not be traceable.
Yeah.
But, you know, because there's no record, they can't prove it. I suspect that's what happened, but they can't prove it, so, you know, so that's all there is to it. Now,
he's eliminated all evidence of a connection between the two so far.
Yeah, other than the shit that they found in his house, like I said, that backed up her story.
Hard to get a murder conviction on that.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Yeah, there was stuff in there that at least proved that he was lying. You know what I mean?
Did they go to Canada for a week?
I kind of doubt it.
Okay.
I kind of doubt it.
She thought she was going to Canada for a week.
Yeah, I think that was the story he told her.
They got together and he killed her.
Yeah.
And he went back home. That's why the wife said he was always there. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it might have been.
That's the only thing that's plausible. That's why he didn't want her to pack anything, because then that'd be shit he'd have to dispose of.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, all of... You know, no, I don't think any court in the country would give you a murder conviction just on this, because it's circumstantial evidence. But I mean, it's kind of all adding up. It looks really suspicious, right? It looks very suspicious.
I was gonna say, I don't know that woman.
Yeah, and that's the story he's sticking with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That he barely knew her, they weren't having an affair, blah, blah, blah. Now, because the cops were still suspicious, especially after they found, you know, those couple things in the house that corroborated Patti's version of events, they brought a cadaver dog out to his property. Now, the cadaver dog alerted to, like, a slab of concrete that had been poured in the yard. I don't know if it was like a patio or something like that. And the wife said, oh, yeah, he had some concrete left over from, like, a job he did or something like that. So he just, like, poured that little bullshit patio out there or whatever. So the cadaver dog alerted to that. So the cops dug it all up. And guess what? They found nada. They found nothing. So I'm not sure if the dog was alerting to something else, or if the body had been there at some time and then it was moved.
Dog would have found it.
Or, yeah, you would think. I mean, because cadaver dogs are trained pretty well, like, to only alert to... But, I mean, mistakes do happen, so I don't really know. So, yeah, they dug up the whole
fucking area. Why would you bury it
area.
there, then move it? That's
what I mean. It's just... Not, so maybe, I don't know, maybe it was just, like, a false alarm or something like
had
that.
To been.
And maybe he was smelling something else, or...
He must have met up with her. She was thinking she was going on this week-long vacation. And he was like, okay, he's driving her there, or she thinks he's driving her there, but he takes her to a remote location, pops her in the head with a pistol, something like that. Then buries her out there in a remote location. He comes back, maybe only an hour away. So maybe the whole thing took 2.5 hours.
Yeah, because like I said, he got off work at midnight.
Yeah.
Like around then, because they do have record of him like clocking out. Now his wife said he got home at 2:30. I don't know if that's true or not, because his wife could be covering for his ass.
And that's when they were supposed to leave together after work.
They were supposed to leave together after work. That was the plan. They were supposed to clock out at midnight at the end of their shift. She was supposed to climb under the cover on the truck because he had to drive that other coworker home, and he didn't want that dude seeing her. That was the story.
No, it's so she couldn't see where she was going.
No,
that's what he wanted.
And he was
he didn't want anybody seeing them leaving together.
Yeah, and he was supposedly going to, like, after he dropped this other dude off, like, she was supposed to get in the cab like a normal person, and then they were supposed to go on their merry way.
That's not what he did. He drove her out about an hour away, and he opened up the back. She got it. She goes, "Where are we?" Bow.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably...
Shot her, and then he dug a hole there. He might have had a hole pre-dug from another day. You know what I mean?
He might have been planning this for a while.
Yeah, we knew where the hole was and everything. Yeah, I already had it dug.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I will also note, I don't put much stock in polygraph tests. I mean, they usually only use them to eliminate people. They're not admissible in court, obviously. But I will note that, quote-unquote, Dave took a polygraph test, and they said, we're not going to say he failed it, but we're going to say that he was being deceptive. That's what they're going to say. That's what they said. Also, not too long after she disappeared, he quit his job.
Yeah.
And went to work elsewhere.
And did they ever find that $90,000? Did he buy anything?
No. I don't know.
He must have that cash stashed.
He might have, yeah. So, what ended up happening, Patti Adkins was declared legally dead in 2006. Because here's the thing. They're like, yeah, there's a possibility that maybe something else happened and maybe she ran off or something like that. But they're like, look, one, she would never run off and leave her kid. Like, everybody said that. Two, none of her credit cards or anything like that have been used.
She's dead.
Since she's gone. So they're like, she is almost certainly dead.
Yeah.
So legally they had her declared dead in 2006. So, and her family have pretty much accepted that happened.
Yeah, that dude must have killed her.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, that's pretty much
She's too suspect.
Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. I'm fascinated by his name's not really Dave, but Dave's wife.
Yeah.
Did she know?
I don't think so. He had planned it all around. He'd planned it around her. You know what I'm talking about? He avoided all of her little fucking sensory apparatuses. He knew what he could get away with and what was normal and what wasn't normal for her. And he came home a little bit later than normal, but she didn't think that was a big deal. And he's like, I don't know this woman, and she's gonna want to believe that.
Well, here's the thing. Like, now, according to his wife said that night he came home at 2:30, which was the normal time that he came home.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's true or not. So that's what I'm kind of saying. I was like, well, I'm sure it didn't normally take him 2.5 hours to drive home. It's only like 30 miles. So
okay.
So I'm just kind of like, is she covering for him, or did he tell her some other story? Because I'm kind of wondering, like, was the wife in on it to get the money?
No, because I think he was having sex with her. And that's kind of like pimping your husband out for the money. I don't think she was in on it. It's more likely he was doing it on his own and keeping it from the woman. And he was getting free sex and free money out of it. And when it was start to coming to a head where he'd have to actually leave his wife and
pay her back,
paying her back, he's like, I gotta kill her. And it could be
because that makes total sense.
Yeah, it sounds like a dude that fucking really lacks a lot of kind of like higher functions in terms of like repercussions for what you're doing. Kind of like a pathological liar type dude. He's something like that. I think he just painted himself into a corner, and that he couldn't get out of without killing her. Because of course, these guys always come first. They'd rather kill somebody else than be exposed.
Yeah,
You know what I
of
mean?
course.
So,
Because we've seen,
what choice do I have? That's their thinking.
right?
What choice
Because
do I
I've
have?
like watched so many true crime shows.
Yeah.
And it's so dumb because like dudes and women too, like, but it seems like
It's not a dude thing.
It's
really.
not, yeah, but like stupid people, let's just call it that, get into these dumbass situations, like, you know, fucking around on their spouse or whatever, and they get into these situations, and then, I mean, there's lots of options. Like, you could just, you know, take the L and be like, yeah, I was fucking around on you, and risk, like, you losing your spouse or anything like that. I mean, if you were really worried about it, you wouldn't have fucked around in the first place, right? Right. So it's just kind of like, so they do that, and then, other than doing something normal like that, just saying, oh, well, maybe, you know, I'm going to have to divorce my wife or whatever, they're like, well, I'm just going to kill the mistress, or kill the wife, or whatever it is. And I'm just like, what? It's like, that just seems like it could go, like, so much more wrong than just maybe getting shafted in divorce court. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The female version of it is young single moms neglecting the child. The child starts to suffer from malnutrition. Again, she doesn't give a shit. She's abusing the kid. The abuse becomes so obvious that eventually she realizes that she has to kill the kid, or somebody's going to find out that she abused her.
Find out,
that she abused and starved the kid. I've seen that scene.
And it's just,
and then the cops find him, and it's and the kid's dead in the garbage can in the fucking I saw that shit fucking on YouTube. The police footage and everything. They found the little girl dead in a garbage can in the garage. She'd been in there for about a week.
It's mind blowing to me. It's like, look, most humans are the same. Like, shame is a very strong motivator, and like, nobody likes to be embarrassed, nobody likes to have their secrets exposed. I get that, but it's just kind of like, if you're so ashamed of it that you're willing to like kill somebody over it, that seems a tad excessive.
Oh, you fucking crazy.
Say.
You're fucking crazy.
I mean, that's crazy. But I can see, like, if you're already, well, I mean, in that case, the woman was already abusive and neglectful and stuff like that, so it's not really that much of a stretch. This dude, I don't know anything about him. I've really only I saw him, you know, because the one of the documentaries that I saw, I can't remember. I can't remember if it was 48 Hours or one of the true crime shows. And they went to his house. They found him and went to his house and were like, "Hey, we want to ask you about Patti and blah blah blah." And he came to the door, but they blurred his face out. Like I said, they didn't want him suing their ass. But he just came to, I don't know what you're talking about, and just like came and closed the door. So it's like, I've never seen the dude, but it's just kind of like, has this dude done this before? It seems like really fucking cold-blooded. Yeah, allegedly.
I don't understand it. And I made my living with a gun. I'm ex-military, 101st Airborne Division. I come from a recon platoon. It had first 327 recon was the platoon I came from. It was 45 men. They were most decorated in Vietnam, but they also had the most war crimes. You had fucking guys killing women and children and shit because they were enemy women and children. That was the thinking of the time. I can understand killing people. You know, it's kind of like my job, but you're killing enemy soldiers and combatants. I totally understand it. But the thing is as a openly declared warfare, they know you're at war with them. There's a disagreement. You're going to solve it out the old-fashioned way by killing your way out of it. This shit here, man, this sneaky bullshit over stuff like that, I don't understand. I just can't fucking relate to it. It makes me think of that shit, and I'm going like, man, I should X you out. You know what I mean? It's just, that shit's too, like me, I'm honest. If I'm coming after you, you're going to know. You know, you're at least going to get some fair warning. You know what I mean? Fucking, and there's going to be state sanctioned. There's going to be a higher motive to it too. I'm not into this thing. I'm not into it for petty shit. You know, but no, I can't really relate to it. I'm like, but I think what it is we read into it a little too much. I think it's simple, stupid shit. It was free sex. All right. They realized that she was pliable enough to get free money out of her.
And she had a lot of money.
Yeah. And then he's going like, this is a good deal. But then he paints himself into a corner with all these lies. And he's like, there's no way out for him without being exposed.
Right.
And they're so egotistical, they can't survive exposure. She might tell my wife, I might get in trouble.
Yeah.
So
my wife might divorce me and take all my money.
Yeah. Or, you know, then I'll be stuck with her. You know, just weird shit like that. You know, so I think he just comes up with this elaborate, well-laid trap for this girl that wouldn't leave any evidence, you know, or conclusive evidence pointing to him. And She got in the vehicle with him under false pretenses, and he took her out to a location that he had pre-planned, probably with a hole dug there and everything. And she got out and she goes, "Where are we?" And he fucking put a pistol to her head and pulled the trigger before she even knew what was going on. It's probably what happened. She probably didn't know what hit her.
God, I hope not.
Yeah. Oh, for her sake.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for her sake, I hope she didn't know what hit her. That's probably what he did. It's kind of like,
I mean,
oh, well, I don't know. The car broke down, and she turns around, pow!
Yeah.
And then he just throws her in a...
Yeah, he probably had it all fucking planned out.
Yeah, probably had it all pre-planned.
That's fucking chilling.
Yeah.
Who knows how long... soon as... Because I kind of feel like she had started... I don't know if she was, like, nagging him about it or something. I mean, it's not nagging because, like, She loaned him all this money, and she's like, "Hey, bro, I got to pay some of that back. You know, can I have some of that back because I loaned it to you?" And so maybe he's like, "Well, I just got to fucking," and then he just started planning it.
Yeah.
I feel allegedly.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not saying what his name is. I know what his name is.
I don't think he planned to get the money from her. I think all he planned was to sleep with her. But then he got deeper and deeper involved and realized he could get money.
And he realized that she had.
And then there was a little bit of money, and once the money started flowing, he's fucking this is good. But then all of a sudden, the date starts coming around where he's going to start paying back. And he didn't have the money. He's not going to give her the money back.
Well, of course not.
So the money becomes defending the money in his own reputation, his own self-image. I guess in a weird, perverted way, he's protecting his self-image.
Whatever fucking self-image that is.
I don't know how you can live with yourself.
No one cares about you, bro.
No, his own opinion of himself. He's attaching. He's trying to defend his own opinion of himself, and by killing a woman in cold blood who was in love with him, I can't know. That's fucking dastardly.
That's a good word for it.
What's that?
Dastardly.
Oh, hell yeah. And fucking, I was served in an army that dropped fire on women and children, burned Dresden to the fucking ground and shit. Oh, totally horrible crap. But still, there's something particularly evil about this.
About this kind of shit.
Yeah, because you're doing this to a woman that supposedly loves you. She's not your enemy.
And they've been in a relationship for like at least a year.
Yeah.
She trusted him, clearly.
Yeah.
Because look, Xanadu was saying, well, one thing he said was a female coworker isn't going to write you a love letter unless you're fucking her. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he knew her. Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And also, she was very trusting of him, it seems, to hide in the bed of a truck and do all this weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like...
He was a psychopathic fucking liar.
Yeah, but here's the scary thing to me. This is why was kind of chilling to me. Because apparently she didn't see... I mean, as far as anybody knows... Like,
no warning signs.
Yeah, like, because she would talk to her sister about it, and it's like, her sister was like, man, she loved this dude. She's like, this is my soulmate. He's going to leave his wife. And they were just kind of like, I don't think so, but okay, you're a grown-ass woman. Yeah. So, like, she was totally head over heels for him. So she apparently didn't see any red flag. I'm not saying there weren't any. I'm just saying that she didn't see them, or maybe she justified it somehow, or whatever. Because a lot of times, if you're in love with somebody, you'll make excuses, like if they do fucked up shit. So maybe that's the wavelength she was on. I'm not really sure. But the fact that someone would say, you've been together a year, he seems normal, and then I was, we're going to go on this vacation, but hey, honey, you have to hide in this fucking truck. I mean, maybe she didn't think anything about it. Maybe she just thought it was like a funny little adventure.
Yeah, he probably had it all playful and shit.
Yeah, it's like, well, we don't want anybody knowing. You better hide under here.
I guarantee you she was living in a simulacrum, in a simulated reality. Okay.
Yeah.
Her version of reality wasn't real. It was a fake reality
of his making.
He spun this reality to her. He didn't feel the way she
did.
Thought that. Yeah, he didn't feel the way she did, and he didn't feel the way that he was pretending to be. I think he was kind of indifferent towards her.
I mean, I think, I said, I don't know him. I don't know, but just from the facts of the case, and the fact that he allegedly was able to just bump her off so coldly like that as soon as she started asking for money back, it seems to me that he was just kind of like, oh, well, she was just a convenient fuck because she was at work. Yeah. And then when she became troublesome, oh, well, got to get rid of that problem, like stepping on a roach.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like that.
Yeah, he goes, oh, well, she didn't know what hit her.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like that's probably, and that's like really scary, because the fact that you could be with somebody for at least a year, maybe, I mean, it might have been more, because I saw like some articles said it was a year, some have said it was 2 years, but it was somewhere in that area, and you could be with somebody that long, and yes, I know that like you can have blinders on when you love somebody and blah blah blah, and like overlook a lot of stuff, but I kind of feel like her not seeing any red flags or seeing anything weird about him, and then I mean, apparently, like I said, she fucking trusted him. She trusted him enough to, like, yeah, we're going to go away for a week. She was, like, super excited about it because she thought, oh, maybe this means that he's, like, serious about it. And she, you know, we're going to go away for a week, and it's all this stuff.
Sending super chats.
Ooh, thank you very much. Jeffy Art sent a super chat. Sorry, I'm late. Heard about this case recently. There were some who believe the wife was in on it, too. Yeah, we were talking about that. We'll talk about that a little bit more. I don't believe so. Oh, and that she was killed by a carbon dioxide in the truck. All those lakes on the route. Oh, it could be, yeah, because... See, I don't know...
No.
I don't think... Okay, as far as I'm aware, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that there was no record of him going to Canada. That's where they were supposed to be going. Unless there would be a record of it, right? Because you got to cross the border.
It wasn't accidental.
No.
And there would have been evidence had he rerouted the exhaust into the fucking back to gas her.
Yeah.
And she would have smelt that shit. She'd have kicked that fucking top off, probably.
Yeah, it was just like fabric, like tight fabric.
He took her to a remote location, and when they got out, she's like, "Where the hell are we?" And she turned around, and he fucking popped her.
Probably just shot
popped her in the back of the head with a .38 revolver or 380 something.
Or hit her with a fucking shovel
and then buried her
or something.
Yeah. And then went back home.
I gotta pee and get a drink. But yeah, so yeah, talk some more about the wife. I want to talk more about that because
talk about the wife.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on whether she fucking knew about it.
I don't think she knew.
You don't think?
No, I think the guy was a master manipulator.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like that.
Yeah. If he could fool that woman, he could probably fool his wife too. I think it was just, dude was just kind of a cold-blooded sociopath. I don't even call him a psychopath. Psychopaths are at least kind of more in your face about what they are. Sociopaths are more weaselly, indirect, liars, tend to be kind of like a pathological liar type guy. He's one of those. And the weird thing is that he probably didn't really plan on killing her from the very beginning. It was something that just kind of grew out of the situation, I think. He realized that he could get free sex out of her. And then he realized he could get money out of her. But then he painted himself into a corner. He had to get out of it. And, this type of dude always puts himself first, you know what I mean? They'll kill other people if they're inconvenient. If they feel that they can get away with it. And he was in a situation because she trusted him that he could get away with it. Now, wasn't enough to bring him to trial, evidently in the state that he was in. Wasn't enough evidence. So he hasn't been convicted, so he's not really guilty. You got to convict him to get guilt. If you can't convict him, then he's just a suspect. But I would say he probably did it, I can't see any other way why the circumstantial evidence was enough. Now, this was up north. The way they handle the law is a lot different than it down to southern states. Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, they'd have convicted him. They don't really need evidence, especially in Louisiana. You just need it because it's a Napoleonic-based law. You just need the accusation, and the circumstances are enough to put you away. Just all they got to do is convince a jury. And if they don't need a body, they don't need a fucking crime scene, they don't need a murder weapon. They just need to have enough circumstantial evidence and a jury that goes, yeah, he probably killed him. And that's all it would take. I was saying that the state's laws are different.
Yeah.
Up north, you can get away with this shit. In the south, you can't. Especially Louisiana. In Louisiana, you're guilty until you're proven innocent, really. If the accusation comes, you got to prove your innocence because it's French law, Napoleonic-based law. You're guilty first. And Mississippi and Alabama, they're more like British-style laws. But still, they don't need much physical evidence to bring a murder case before the courts. You just need a complaint, and it'll go to the grand juries, and the grand juries just rubber stamp basically everything that comes across. And then they're going to just sit down and they're going to tell the story in front of a jury. If the jury buys a story, you're guilty.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. Like, I've seen, like, a lot of cases. I mean, some states, as Xana pointed out, you can do a murder case, like, without a body. And I have seen it done. It's much more difficult to get a conviction, obviously, if the body is not there. But I kind of feel like in this case...
In a case like this, it'd be a slam dunk in Louisiana.
In this case, though,
Yeah.
there's not even any evidence that a crime was committed. It's not like... Because I remember one case in particular where a dude had taken his wife out on a boat and killed her and then, like, dumped her in the ocean or something like that. And they never found her body, but they found, like, something that had been on the boat, like a cooler or something like that, and had a fuck ton of blood in it, and it was her blood. So they're like, well, obviously, she's dead somewhere, even though they didn't find her body. So that dude did get convicted. But in this case, they found nothing. All they found was the cat hairs and one tiny little speck of blood, which they don't even know was hers. So it's just kind of like, all we can prove is that she was probably in the bed of this truck at some point. Yeah. But it's like, we can't prove that he killed her or even that she's dead. I mean, obviously they know that she's dead, but they can't prove it. So it's like, so the fact that there is no evidence that a crime was even committed is kind of like hampering the shit here.
I'm going to go back to what I said. In the deep South states, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, they don't need any evidence. All they need is a complaint. If a family member says, we think this person killed our daughter, and this is the circumstances behind it, and you got some witnesses that says, yeah, they were having, that's enough to get a grand jury indictment. If you can get the grand jury indictment, you can have a trial. And they don't need anything. They just go, she's gone. You killed her. And if the jury buys it, you're guilty.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't need the evidence. They just need the jury to buy it. And you put this before a jury,
depending on where it is.
In Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, you gone. You going to fucking death row.
I kind of feel like I would hate to be...
Yeah.
If hypothetically, if this case with exactly this evidence went to trial and somehow I was on the jury, even though I don't live in Ohio...
You'd find that dude guilty.
Man.
You know in your heart that dude's guilty.
I know,
because
but...
what they would do is his defense would throw up a big smoke screen. They would tell an alternate story and say that the prosecution's story or the state's story is a lie. You can either choose to believe their story or our story.
Well, I know how.
And that's really America runs on that. Just look at the politics here. Everything's propaganda and different conflicting lies. And what you do is you confuse the people, which would be the jury. And you have a better chance if you're a crook. And really, a lot of times, both sides are crooked to a certain extent. That's why people kind of check out. You know, if you're smart, you should check out over anything with the state or state propaganda or lawyers or anything. Most of the time, it's bullshit. But that doesn't mean that those dudes aren't guilty. Okay?
Well, yeah.
They'll get a guy, he's guilty, and they're still lying to make him look more guilty than he is.
Well, like
There's all kinds of shit that they do.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's kind of the way that our system is structured. That's just kind of like the way it works. Like, it's team versus team, and it's like you want your team to win. Yeah. So it's like if you got to exaggerate shit or like twist
lie,
shit
cheat, steal
to like make shit look a certain way. It just, to me, it seems like, here's the thing. Like, my scientific mindset says there would still be reasonable doubt in this case. Is it, I think the dude did it. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that reasonable doubt could be introduced where he's just saying, look, I really don't know her all that well, or she's stalking me. Like, she sent me this stuff, but I didn't reciprocate, or something like that.
She's pretending that we have an affair.
Right, like, because,
that would have been a lot
because
more believable.
They didn't have... Yeah, but the fact that he didn't say that, maybe he's not as smart as he thought.
Not as smart as you would think.
Because honestly, if he was trying to get over...
Yeah.
Because they found that shit in his house, like stuff that she had sent him, and he's just like, yeah, this some bitch at work that's obsessed with me. Yeah. I barely know her.
Yeah, she was she was in my vehicle. She would jump in there and try to get me to go out with it. Yeah, you try to get me to take her places. Yeah, she was always in my car. That's...
If he was trying to get away with some shit, that's what he should have said.
If you're gonna fucking
now he just looks like a big fat liar, which makes him look even more suspicious.
If you're gonna tell a lie, that lie has to be the closest to the truth as you possibly can. So that way, that the physical evidence that leaves behind, the physical evidence that is left behind, your story is being supported by that physical evidence. Your story can never fucking be different or be. Your story can never contradict the evidence. And you see, when he says, I don't know her, but then there's evidence that she was in his car. More suspicion right there.
Right.
They're a lot better to go, oh no, I know her. Yeah, she's crazy.
Yeah,
She's always calling me.
Would have been
Fucking trying to get me to go out with her. I don't want to go out with her. I'm married.
Yeah.
She keeps jumping in my car.
And the fact that he didn't do that makes me even more suspicious of him.
Right.
Because if he was really innocent, or if he was smart and was trying to get away, he would have said that.
Yeah,
like, he would have spun it that way.
She's telling all her friends that we're a thing. I don't know her, man. I don't want anything to do with her.
Yeah, she's delusional.
Yeah,
like, he could have said that.
Yeah.
Like, she thinks we're going on vacation this week. I'm staying home.
Yeah.
Like, you know
I
what I mean?
liked her at first, man. I was thinking about it, but then she's crazy. I don't want to deal with her.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably
That's far more plausible.
Right. And like
if
I said,
they put you in front of a jury, I'm telling people how to lie to get away with murder. They put you in front of a jury, now the jury's like, oh yeah, that's happened before. I've heard of that. Yeah, it's happened
bitches.
to me. Yeah, okay, so you know her, but yeah, that bitch is crazy. You sure?
I mean, because everything they found... Here's the thing. Okay, so Xanadu says, yeah, and here's where the reasonable doubt thing comes in. It's like, you can still make the argument she ran off. Yeah, she wouldn't leave her kid, but women do leave their kids. It's not a good argument. I do think she was killed, though. I think more than... Yeah, because just saying, oh, she'd never leave her kid.
I don't think it's reasonable that she left her kid.
It's not reasonable, but I think the more... what convinces me more that she's dead is that her accounts were never used again. However... I will say that a jury or a good attorney could argue, well, she took all that money out in cash, and maybe she didn't give it to him. Maybe she used that to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, and start a new life someplace else. Like, they could have argued that because there's no proof that he received that money.
As soon as she got declared dead later on, though, that means you could open charges against him. Yeah. I would consider it.
I mean,
she's dead and you're connected to this. I'd fucking badger that dude until you fucking... And it didn't sound like he was properly fucking interrogated either. You get him in front of the right interrogators, man, and get that dude to fucking fuck up, and then he'll spill his guts. But I bet you those cops weren't that good.
Maybe they weren't, because I kind of feel like there is some
cops
psychology to it, and they're really good at like just getting people. Normally, what it is,
to talk first, and then you're what you're saying. They're gonna fucking go back later on, and they're gonna go in there and fucking look at all the inconsistency between what you said and your story right there. And then they're gonna trip you up.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. You know, fucking somebody being in certain kind of units. You have to understand what they do to POWs and things, and when they're trying to recreate, fucking get information out of you. If you're gonna lie, the lie has to be the closest thing to the truth that you could possibly think of. But it can't be the truth. It's just that, in other words, your spin on everything is going to be different than what it really is. Yeah, we were over there, but that's not what we were doing. We were doing this and that. You know, it's just that kind of shit.
Yeah, like you said, the best lie is the one that's closest to the truth.
It's got to be real close to the truth.
Not
right, and you're trying to throw them that way, and you're not giving them enough to work with, because you're fighting over little bitty details, over the way things are characterized.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like this case is a really good example of that, because looking at the facts as presented, like I said, it seems most reasonable to assume that he probably killed her.
Yeah.
But, like you said, if you wanted to spin it another way, if you were this dude's defense attorney, hypothetically, like if he ever got arrested for this shit, which he hasn't been, this many years later, he could spin it as, you know, she was stalking me, or you know what I mean, or I kind of knew her, but I didn't really like her that much. She thought she was in a relationship with me, and she was delusional. It's like she used to jump in my truck, blah blah blah. So he could spin her that way, and they could also spin it, like I said, all the money that she took out, because they can't prove that she gave it to him. Maybe she took all that money out and then just took off. Yeah. And like went off and started a new life somewhere with $90,000.
That's not what happened.
No, I don't think that's what happened.
No.
But I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.9% sure that he just like took her out and shot her and put her in a hole somewhere.
Far more plausible.
Or threw her in a lake someplace.
Far more plausible.
Which I think, and it just seems the whole timing of it is suspicious. And like I said, had he been, I'm not saying do this, I'm just saying that had he been smarter, he could have planted the seed of her like being into him, but him
Yeah.
not being into her, like from the
Wasn't
beginning,
reciprocated, right.
instead of just adamantly saying, I don't know her, man, like, or I
Yeah.
barely know her, and then they find shit in his house
Yeah.
that says, it looks like you did know her, though.
Yeah.
Like I said, it makes him look a lot more suspicious,
Yep.
which is dumb.
Yep.
Like, he didn't really think that through.
No.
So, like I said, that makes me even more suspicious that he very likely did kill her, because if he'd have just said, man, she just was sending me these letters and shit like that, but I didn't like reciprocate because I love my wife and I would never cheat on her, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? He could have played it that way.
Yeah.
But
there's all kinds of books out there you guys can read about mind control and how to resist interrogation. A good one to start with is a Dutch writer. I think it's Dutch. His last name is Joost. 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 I forgot what his first name is.
Or Joost.
Joost, yeah. And the name of the book is Rape of the Mind. Fuck it. You can get it on audiobook on YouTube. Very good book. And there was another one I read a long time ago about a dude who was I think he was one of Pol Pot's torturers. And he actually documented all the tortures he did to people and what mental and physical tortures that he did to his prisoners and what their responses were. And what he thought of it, because he was trying. It's been a long time since I read it. I actually read that fucking when I was in high school. But you can, once you understand how an interrogator or a torturer thinks, you can actually play mind games with them. You know, but some of these guys are pros. Like Saddam had real good ones that he recruited from prisons. You know, as inmates, sexual deviants and sexually, what do you call them, sadistic dudes that he'd recruit from prison to make them torturers. Some wild ass shit has happened, man. But there are books out there how to basic thing. If you ever get fucking interrogated, just keep repeating the same thing over and over again. If it's your serial number or your social security number, the last four of your fucking social security, just keep repeating that over and over again. No matter what they say. If they start beating on you, you just focus in on those fucking four numbers and just keep repeating them. And you're hoping that they get so frustrated that they kill you. And they ain't have to worry about it anymore. But that's been proven to work.
Yeah. Senior Stick says, what?
Oh, it's proven to work because you're doing something. Every time you get under pain, you say them four words again. That's your method of resistance. You're just fighting them with them four letters or four numbers over and over again. And hoping that they kill you. The thing is that they're well trained. They know what you're doing. You know.
Yeah, Senior Stick says it all sounds questionable. I agree.
Yeah, he did it.
Yeah, CB said, who fucked up if she did a runner and let Dave take the blame for her murder and she's still alive? I don't think she's still alive after
She's
all
dead.
this time. It's been 23 years. I find it very, very strange that she would do that. And Xanada said, cops can lie too. They will say they have information that they don't just to get you to spill the beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a misperception
That cops tell the truth.
that cops can't lie or they're
Yeah.
not allowed to. That is absolutely not the case.
No.
They can say all kind of stuff. Hey, we've got your blood at this and that and the other
Your partner
thing.
just told on you. He said
Yeah,
that
they
you
can
did.
say
You know,
that.
he's telling us that
They
you
can lie
fucking
right to
killed
your
him.
face.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not illegal.
That's the easiest one to do.
That's not illegal.
You get arrested in a group, they immediately separate you. Then they all start saying, "All right, man, we know you did it." I didn't do it. Oh yeah, your buddies tell him. He said you did it. He said you're the one that killed her. Oh no, it was him. You know. And then they start pointing. Then
they start
pointing the fingers at each other. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, they know all the tricks.
know all the tricks.
But like I said, I kind of feel like maybe from TV or movies, people have a misperception that cops are not allowed to lie to you, and that is not the case. They can say whatever the fuck they want, pretty much. I don't think there are probably like a couple of legal things that they can't say, but I think they can mostly say pretty much anything.
They can say anything.
Yeah, they can say that they have this evidence against that, or like
In an
like I
interview,
said-
they call it an interview.
Yeah.
But it's an interrogation. They can say anything. I think. They can even say that we'll let you go. They'll say that all the time. Remember, if you just confess, we'll let you go.
Yeah.
They told that to teenagers before, and then he confessed to the murder.
And then they're like, okay.
Okay, you're getting locked up.
Never mind, we
I thought you
lied.
said we were letting you go. No.
Well, no, not now.
You're getting charged for murder.
You just said you murdered somebody.
Yeah.
We're not letting you run around.
Yeah, it turned out that the kid didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been
Well,
people.
see, that's
people
that's kind of the shitty thing too, is that there's been a lot of, because I've written about a lot of cases too, where somebody gets picked up for a murder, and it turns out they're kind of like mentally challenged or something like that, and it's like, so these cops will like just hammer them for like hours at a time until finally the people are just like, well, okay, fine, I did it, you know what I mean? And then they'll start coaching them, like what answers to give, just because they want to arrest somebody,
Yeah.
and that person goes to prison for like 20 years, and they're just like, he didn't even do that shit.
They don't have to be mentally challenged.
I'm just saying I've written about a couple cases where that happens.
If they're kind of soft people who are naive, no, the cops can fucking run a number on them and get them to say and do all kinds of shit that isn't true, because they're just trying to obey authority. You know, which that's what some people are like that. They're bootlickers naturally, so they just do whatever the cops want them to say. Well, okay, well, I'm a good person. Yeah, I'm on your side. Yeah, what do you want me to do? Okay, yeah, you know, they're like that. You know.
And I mean, it's easy
and
to
they're
say.
treating you as an enemy, and you're you're thinking, oh, no, you're the cops, you're the good guys. Man, they're trying to get you to confess to something, and if you didn't do it, then fucking you need to fucking stand your fucking ground.
Don't ever.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't ever. Like, no matter what they say. They can say, oh, we have your blood here and there. No, you fucking don't. No, you fucking don't. Because I didn't fucking do that shit. You know what I mean? Just keep fucking saying that. I don't care how tired they make you. I don't care if they don't give you any water. I don't care, because they'll do that kind of crap too. And they'll just, like, hammer you for hours and hours until you're, like, falling asleep. But don't ever, 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 like, fucking concede. Even no matter what they say. If you didn't do it, like, don't fucking confess to it. Now, I know there's, like, a bunch of weirdos out there that actually will confess to things just for shits and giggles. I don't really understand that at all. But any kind of high-profile crime, it happens. You get people confessing to shit that didn't do it. And sometimes they get put in prison for it, and then later on they're just like, whatever, I was just kind of like... That's how they entertain themselves, I guess. I guess people do it just because they need attention, or I'm not really sure why they do it. But yeah. I do kind of wonder, though, like, I don't know how long they interrogated this guy for. You know, they did search his property. You know, they dug up his yard. They did all this other kind of stuff. But I kind of feel like maybe... had he been interrogated properly, perhaps, he might have broken down and confessed to it eventually. Like, if you came at him the right way. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he never would have. I mean, the fact that he's just totally gone fucking... just straight denial, you know, which I guess it's worked for him for more than 20 years. So I guess there's something to be said for that tactic. But he basically just said, I didn't know her, you know what I mean? That's all he said. And he got his wife to back him up. I don't know if him and his wife were still married, like, after all this time. I didn't really check, because, like I said, there's not really a lot of info about it. I did find out his real name, but there's not, like, a lot of info about him otherwise. So I don't know if him and his wife are still married. And I'm just still kind of fascinated by that whole dynamic, like, with him and the wife, where... I don't know, man. Like, Tom made a good point. I kind of heard it when I was going into the bathroom, but where he was saying that maybe if the dude was that good at manipulating Patti, the woman he allegedly murdered, like, maybe he was also that good at manipulating his wife, so she didn't have any idea, like, what he was up to. You know?
I don't think he actually planned this out in the long term.
No, I think he only started planning it maybe a couple days ahead.
Yeah.
Because he bought that truck cover, and I think he bought that truck cover for this specific purpose, so no one would see. But he bought the truck cover 3 days before.
But he hadn't been planning it from day one of meeting her. That was, I think, it just he painted himself into a corner.
Yeah, I think. And like
in the last
said,
4 or 5 days, he's like, man, that payment's coming up, and I can't give her any money. You know, I'm gonna bring this to an end.
Yeah,
this relationship's gonna have to end.
Yeah, I kind of feel like you said, I don't think he was that invested in her. I just kind of feel like, you know, he was stringing her along, like, you know, giving her a line and stuff like that, because he just wanted to get laid.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really, he didn't give that much of a shit about her.
No.
But she was, like, super into him, but he knew all the right shit to say, evidently.
She was the side piece.
Yeah, I mean, and then, like, when she became inconvenient, like, hey, can I have some of that money back that I loaned you?
Yeah.
Then he's like, oh, well, gotta bump her off. Which...
You girls have to understand when you're...
That's fucking crazy.
When you're a side piece. Some women want to be the side piece because they can't be the main piece. They might be married. The girl might be married, too. But if you're a side piece, fucking, you gotta understand it. You never want to... This chick here, she kind of got... I think she got fucking main character syndrome. She didn't realize she was a side piece. That was part of the problem. Because she believed what he said.
Yeah, which, like I said, you can't really blame her because it's like
Some women are believing, you know what I mean? And fucking the dude might have been a really good liar.
And, yeah, like I said, maybe he was really good at it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really... You don't know. Like, the dude could be like...
He was probably going into his role and role-playing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what's kind
of... He
of...
might have half believed what he was saying.
That's what's kind of scary, is that you really never know. Like, you meet a person and it's just kind of like, you know, you think you hit it off and everything like that, but you can't get inside that person's head. You don't know what they're really thinking. They could totally be manipulating you, and they could be totally good at it.
If you're fucking with a married man or a married woman, okay, make sure the husband or wife knows. Okay? If they can't know, then then I wouldn't get involved in that. Okay? I don't think I'd do that. Because that's trouble. Especially if you're a dude. You're fucking around with a married woman. The husband becomes a big threat. She could tell you, oh, we're separated, we're not together. I'm going to have to fucking see this shit before I believe it. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
Because she might be putting you in danger by lying to you.
Well,
you know,
yeah, and
you
I
think that they're separated. The next thing you know, this big 6'4" motherfucker shows up
Right.
with a shotgun. Yeah, what are you gonna do now?
That's
and then
why,
and then you defend yourself. You might end up in prison. You don't know.
like I said, it just seems like too much trouble. Like,
Yeah.
look, as Senior Six points out, there's cheaper ways to get laid. Exactly.
Yeah.
And less dangerous ways to get laid. Yeah. Just why make all that drama for yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just seems like too much trouble.
Yeah.
I'm a very, like, no drama person. I really don't... I would never need... Even if I was single, I would not need dick so bad that I'm going to get involved in that kind of shit. Yeah. Come on.
If Jen was single and she needed dick, she'd have all kinds of fucking club friends from the club that could come and give her some dick that would walk the other way afterwards, and she could get rid of them if she wanted to. She wouldn't have to go through any bullshit like this.
Yeah, it just...
There's seen dudes that would give you dick.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't really think about it, but...
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's what would happen.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm not really worried. Like, look, dick is plentiful.
Yeah, it's out
there. You know what I mean? I'm not really worried about it. I'm not gonna blow up my whole fucking life over it.
No.
It's just, it's not worth it.
That's a dude thing. It's a dude thing that they have a problem with this shit.
I don't, like I said, women, especially once they get to a certain age, they're just like, I can take it or leave it. Yeah. And they're just like, look, it's like, if I just, lived with my cats the rest of my life, that's fine. Like, you know what I mean? They're not worried about it. It's like, wow, it's stress-free. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But we also know married people our age from the club and shit that they're married. They seem to be in a happy relationship. They fuck other people and then they're right back to where they were. You know what I mean? We don't do that, but there's no reason to keep doing anything behind anybody's back.
That's what I mean.
It's too risky if you
like
do
I
that.
said, we don't do that, but we know a lot of people that do that, and I don't judge because, look, as long as everybody knows is on the same page,
and they're all
okay with it.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah, and it's usually a bunch of married people.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah, it's a bunch
like
of
I said, the only shit that pisses me off is sneaking around and doing stuff, doing shit behind people's back.
The bad
I don't like that.
Right. Every little swinger couple we know, none of them people have ever got any problems with any of the people that were fucking swinging. Nobody's killed anybody. Nobody's
because everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows.
No reason to hide
on.
anything. They're not hiding anything.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I'm a big advocate of just like total honesty.
Yeah.
It works out a lot better for everybody in the end.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what's going on. No one's being left out of the loop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one's feelings are being hurt. No one's.
Yeah. And they're all friends.
Right. So it's just kind of like it's much better. It's much healthier. This kind of sneaking around bullshit, it's just like I am not.
Yeah, and what's funny is that when the people we're talking about, one of them is my ex and their husband, fucking Aleta and Tony. They're not really in any danger of breaking up because nobody's going to run off with them.
They've been together longer than we have.
They've been together longer. If somebody's going to steal anybody, the only thing I think is weird that they do is that they say, okay, I'm going to the club with this person. I'll see you tomorrow. It's kind of, let's all go to the club together. You know what I mean? I don't really understand that. Yeah.
Like I said, I don't really like being left out of stuff.
Yeah, you like left out, yeah. Okay, I'll just stay here at home.
And you don't like being left out of stuff.
No.
And I would never leave you out of stuff.
Fuck no.
Like I said, why would I go anywhere without you?
Well, every time we go somewhere, we're always together, aren't we?
Yeah, we're always together.
So let's go do this. We don't even think about it. It's just no. Well, we were like that before we were a couple.
Yeah, we were just like joined at the fucking hip.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we finally got together and was like, Jesus Christ, it took you guys long enough. It's like you guys are always fucking together.
We were dating other people and we were all together all the time.
Holy shit! One time, this guy I wasn't really dating him. I was just kind of he was just like it wasn't a one night stand. It was probably like a 1 week stand or something.
Yeah,
like
I remember that dude.
But I think
He didn't want me around.
He did not.
You want a total monopoly.
We came, and like
we were together, bitch.
Shit, man. He was he wanted. I don't remember how old he was. He was maybe my age or a little bit older.
Did he want you to leave the scene?
No,
okay.
He didn't say that, but he definitely wanted like a family. Like he wanted to get married and have kids, and I was just kind of like,
yeah, just
I don't think so.
Random motherfucker out of the blue.
I don't really like kids, but you know what I mean. I never wanted kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he wanted that, which fair enough. Like that was not, so we were not compatible.
He was honest about it.
But yeah, like I said, at least he was honest about it. Like I said, it wasn't like a long-term thing. It was maybe just like a couple weeks or something. But it's like I think me and him went to iBar, now Barbarella. It's the same place. One night, and he got mad that I was talking to you because you were there separately.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's my best friend, though.
Yeah. And
he was like, well, I could just leave. And I'm just like, bro, chill the fuck out.
We were just hanging. Well, he didn't know anything about hanging out in a scene.
Yeah, I guess not.
Here's another thing is that...
He was a peripheral motherfucker.
Yeah, kind of peripheral. Jen had cool boyfriends back before we were together. Fucking, she had a big old tall one. Me and Jen had already kind of slept together on the side.
Off and on, yeah.
Off and on. But she had this one boyfriend, the motherfucker was about 6'5". I thought he was cool as shit.
He is cool as shit.
Yeah, and we were friends.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any problem with me being around.
Nope.
We'd fucking hang out and have all kind of shit, and then you fucking run off and they go do their thing.
Well, he was seeing other girls too.
He was
besides
dating,
me.
He was dating other girls too.
We weren't exclusive or anything.
No, it was the dating scene.
He would just, I would call him up like booty call, like, hey, come over to my apartment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Out of all the ones you scored, that was the one I approved of, actually, that one.
And he wasn't really in the scene either. Like I said, he was a little bit peripheral.
He was kind of a jock, kind of.
No.
He wasn't a jock.
He was more like geeky.
But he was big, though.
Kind of stuff. Yeah, he was like a big dude, and he was like real into...
he was into like fucking sci-fi shit, wasn't he? And fucking...
Like kind of sci-fi shit, but like also he was big into like the burlesque scene. He knew a lot of chicks that were like burlesque dancers. They go to like body painting events and all that kind of stuff. Like, because I went to a couple.
What was that guy's name again?
Mike.
Mike, that's right, Mike.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him in a long time. He should still be around, huh?
He's still around. I see him on Facebook every now and then, but like I never really noticed.
You ought to tell him to show up to fucking what you call it.
Every now and then, like he shows up. I don't remember the last time I saw him.
I haven't seen him in forever.
It was more than like a year ago, I'm sure. Yeah. But I think. Well, no, it was more than a year ago because I think the last time I saw him was at iBar when it was still downtown.
Yeah.
And that was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So I think that, and he just like kind of showed up on it. I was like, hey, bro, what the fuck's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a long time ago. So, but he's still around, I think, but I don't even know if he still lives here because he doesn't post on social media that much, and I don't talk to him anymore. Like, I think the last
I
time
had high standards for her. Because a lot of these dudes that were coming around her were just these orbital motherfuckers, too fucking overweight, not good, not cool enough. You know what I mean? Fucking.
Or the kind of dudes.
But that one was good enough. I was like, yeah, I thought that would work out.
You know what's cool about him? He's like he's super social.
Yeah.
And he loved parties.
Yeah.
He had a cool house. It was a little house. It was like kind of in, you know, where like the Milk District, like right around where the Falcon is.
Yeah.
He lived like around there.
Yeah, that'd be cool, yeah.
And he used to have parties at his house all the time. And he loved drinking, he loved parties. He would have all these people over his house. He was fun, you know what I mean? He was super fun. And he like always like he had some issues and stuff like that, but he was like just a fun dude and
he had some bad relationships, I think, that fucking
well, when him and me got together, he got married real young.
That's right.
Like I did. Right. And that's kind of why I just met him on Facebook, actually. He was on my friends list and we had a couple friends in common and we started talking and we were just like commiserating about our respective divorces. Yeah. And you know, and we talked for like a long time, and then he was like, well, why don't we just go out? Yeah. And I was just like, okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I never really thought about it. Yeah. And so, like, then we went out to this, and then we had a good time, and you know what I mean? But, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, during that phase, me and Jen were, like, best friends. We were fucking dating other people. And sometimes we'd date each other. Well, we went out all the time. Yeah. But then sometimes we'd go home together. Like, we did that, too.
I slept over at his house a lot.
Yeah.
Too. Like, sometimes we had sex and sometimes not.
Who, me? Or you? Or him?
Me and you.
Yeah, yeah. But,
I was always, like, sleeping over at your house. Or you were sleeping over at my apartment.
Yeah. But, during that time, I was actually, like, fucking kind of rooting for that dude. Because I thought you guys were a good couple. But that fell through. And then it seemed like 6 months later, all of a sudden, me and you were a thing.
Yeah.
Like 6
He
months
wanted.
later.
I think the thing about it was that he had just gotten out of a marriage, and that was like his first.
He still wanted to play the
love.
field, I think, wasn't it?
And so he was just he wanted to get out and play, which is fair enough. You know what I mean? He hadn't had a lot of experience, and so he was a lot younger than me.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
He was like 11 years younger.
Yeah.
And so he had gotten out of this long marriage, and he's like, he thought that was going to last forever, and it didn't, and he was like really heartbroken about it. And so he wanted to like date, because like I said, he was dating other girls too, like one or two other.
Yeah.
I knew who they were.
Yeah, that was a good dude though, man. 'Cause me and him clicked immediately.
Yeah, he was a super nice dude.
Yeah, I like
that
guy.
Nice dude. Most of the other ones, like I said, I got attention from like cool dudes, but I also got attention from like weirdos.
Yeah, shitbags.
Which I think is true of like every woman ever, probably. But it's just like you'd get, you know this type of dudes that, you're at a club and you're talking to your friends or something like that, and the dude like comes and like stands really close.
Yeah.
And then just kind of stands there.
Yeah. Waiting for you to do something.
Waiting for like to get involved or for somebody, and you're just like, have you been helped? Or
that era was the shit, man. Me and Jed would be up in the fucking corner all gothed out. We'd have fucking Sonya dancing and all the other goths and shit, and fucking all kinds of weird shit would happen. Fucking, I'd have stalkers come up, bringing their fucking sisters, fucking trying to get me to interact. Oh man, fucking Jen fucking
like,
strangling some chick for fucking with me. Just all kinds. It was fucking awesome. That was the days. That was a long time ago now. That went 15 years maybe.
Not quite that long.
Not long enough?
Maybe more like 11 or so.
Yeah. All right. So what else about this case?
That was the end of it, man. That's why we've parlayed into sidetracks.
Okay. Is there any comments or anything? Yeah, because we were sidetracking there.
That's okay. Well, like I said, we can sidetrack now because I finished talking about the case.
How long was the show?
We're an hour and a half.
Okay, hour and a half.
So
okay.
it's pretty short. It's pretty short. Yeah.
It's okay. I actually like them around this.
Well, Xanada said, "Why hasn't the family filed a civil suit or something? You'd think they would sue him for money." Yeah, I'm not really entirely sure why, because like the family is pretty sure that he had something to do with it.
Yeah.
So I don't really know why they haven't. Like, I don't know.
His denials kind of make me feel he's guilty.
That's what I mean. That's what kind of makes me suspicious about this whole thing. Had he just said, "Look, I don't really know her, but she like sends me these letters and blah blah," like I'd be less inclined.
She give me gifts and shit. I really don't have any time for that.
Yeah, I'd be less inclined, because that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That does happen. So I'd be less inclined to be suspicious. But the fact that he just denied, and then they found evidence there that she was in his truck, that they found all this stuff in his house, and it just seemed like, it just seemed weird, because obviously he's lying.
Oscar's asking if we're going to watch Terrifier 3.
Eventually we will, yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the theater still, right?
I think it might be, yeah.
Well, maybe we'll go this weekend and see it. Maybe we can do that for the Monday review.
Tammy just says, yeah, they have dildos. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, because going back to what we were talking about.
Okay. Tammy talking about dildos.
About...
Okay.
Well, about women, like, once they get older, being like, fuck it, they could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like I said, they have dildos. They have really good ones, and vibrators and stuff. So it's just kind of like, you don't really need all the drama attached to the dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just need the dick. It doesn't talk back. It doesn't leave dirty socks around the house. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Or whatever.
I don't do that.
No, I know you don't, but I'm just saying
Fucking
that's a complaint that a lot of women have.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking spick and span.
Well, yeah, but apparently that's unusual, because a lot of dudes are like real slobs, but like Tom is like super clean.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you were in the military. And
Yeah.
So yeah, he doesn't like leave fucking clothes around or
no, do
like
laundry, do fucking vacuum.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, honestly,
Do
you
the
do.
dishes.
And I'm lucky, because I mean you're retired and I work, so, but you do all the cooking,
fucking groundskeeping.
all the groundskeeping, pretty much all the housework. Like I do my own laundry and clean my own bathroom and shit like that, because we each have our own bathroom.
Right.
But Tom does pretty much everything else, like cooking, vacuuming.
I'm like a house. I'm a fucking trophy husband. I'm the one y'all wish you had.
Yeah,
doing all that shit.
I mean, yeah, I'm a very lucky.
I can do all that shit.
I'm a very lucky.
I'll fix the car too.
Yeah,
I'm building a car out there.
I'm a very lucky
building that marquee up. I'm gonna put a new carpet in it soon, maybe this month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's really the only thing that it needs to be like.
It needs new carpets and new. It needs a new carpet and it needs new floor mats. And I want high quality fucking floor mats, like factory floor mats. And the floor mat set is like $150. The carpet for that is about another $150. I'll pull the seats out to put that in there. And when the seats are out, I'm gonna strip that fucking. I got leather seats. I'm gonna strip the driver's leather seat off of the fucking bucket, and I'm gonna sew that split up. There's a split in it where the seams came apart.
Yeah.
The seam ruptured. It can only be sewed from the other side. Well, I got a leather kit with leather fucking tools and special leather threads and shit. And I'll go in there by hand and sew that back up and then put that leather seat back together. But I'll do that. I might be able to do that this month.
Other than that,
and that car will smell brand new when it's done because I pulled all the fucking
the
door
leather
components
seats are in amazingly good condition.
Yeah.
Like for as old as
it's a
that car
'99.
is.
It looks brand new.
It
It only has
does.
100,000 miles on it. Mercury Grand Marquis.
Tammy says get WeatherTech floor mats. They're great.
I want luxury floor mats.
Luxury floor
You
mats.
see, we don't drive that often. So when we do, it's
Maybe
like an experience. I
yeah,
like to
maybe
be
a
like I'm in a
couple times a
hotel room. The
Because
Grand
he's
Marquis.
retired and I work at
Yeah.
home, so we just go out like on the weekends or to the grocery store. That's pretty.
The
much
Grand
it.
Marquis is big. It's only a little bit smaller than the fucking Lincoln Town Car. The Lincoln Town Car is the same car. It's just stretched. It's stretched by about a foot, so the passengers have more leg room. And the interior's got a little more extra lights and bells and whistles in it, but the quality is about the same. Sometimes I wish I would have gotten a town car, but the thing is here in Florida is heaven for Panther platform. That's Crown Victoria, Mercury Grand Marquis, Lincoln Town Car. This is heaven for that type of car. It's a legendary car. That's where all our old cop cars and taxis were that car. And it's because old people bought them here to retire in, and then they died. So things like Lincoln
old
Town,
people do.
yeah, which they do, and then things like Lincoln Town Cars would end up in the used market in pretty good condition for real cheap. But what happened to a lot of the fucking Lincolns is because they were so pimped looking, is that fucking young people didn't want them, so they kind of fell into bad ownership. People didn't maintain them, and you'll see Lincoln Town Cars that are at one time beautiful that are just ragged out. Structurally, they're probably fine, but it's like $3,000 worth of fucking work you got to do to get the interior and the exterior right. So what's weird here in Florida is that the town cars tend to be worse than the Grand Marquis. The Grand Marquis are all in better condition on average. I don't know why. Just there's something about the Lincolns. They just end up in bad ownership.
Phantom asked, Tom, what's your favorite food dish that Jenny cooks? Ooh, I don't really cook.
Jenny
honestly.
doesn't cook.
I mean, I can cook. I would just prefer not to.
Yeah, she never does cook.
I would just prefer not to.
Seeing women in the kitchen frustrates me. Because I did time as a professional cook before I was in the military. And in between fucking contracts and shit, I'd go to the kitchen. Because that's what happens. Soldiers are very working class. In between gigs, you're going to be in a kitchen. Which is a fucking another war, man. The heat and fucking hard work. And shit.
Yeah, my brother's always worked in
Yeah,
the kitchen.
I like kitchen. I just don't necessarily like it long-term professionally. It's a lot of stress.
It takes a lot out of
especially
you.
at my age. Yeah.
It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, but
Working in a restaurant.
women can't hold knives correctly. They don't fucking chop vegetables right. It's like scratching.
That's not true, Tom.
It's true. It's like scratching fucking. It's like fingernails on a chalkboard. I'm like, you're gonna cut yourself. You know, they'll cut with the tip of the knife instead of the base.
Don't be so paternalistic.
They don't.
There's a lot of female chefs in the world.
No.
that
I'm not talking about them. They're trained. I'm talking about a lot of women that are in the kitchen, who just go into the kitchen, their own kitchen. I see them do shit in their own kitchen, and I'm like, you're gonna kill yourself. You know.
Yeah, but they're the same age as you, and they're still alive, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, just the safety isn't there.
We don't. You're not our dad. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Doing things like
we've got it handled.
I've seen women do things like fucking use soap and fucking on fucking cast iron pots. They'll put those in a fucking dishwasher. You never do anything like that.
I've never in a million years. Like,
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about I've seen other women do that
yeah.
shit.
I've seen dudes do that too.
Yeah, well, they're dumb. All right.
That's what I mean. So don't just blame that on one whole entire gender.
You never put fucking
No, of course not.
Never
Everybody
wash
knows that.
cast iron.
Well, idiots don't know that clearly,
Yeah.
but like everybody else knows that.
Yeah, cast iron it becomes seasoned with all the oils in it to make it non-stick. You put soap on it, you're gonna fucking ruin it. I got fucking, my cast iron came from my grandmother in the deep south. The shit came from the 40s and the 50s. Better than any Teflon pan.
Yeah, we got a whole fucking set.
Got a shit ton of it. After my dad died, I took all his mom's shit. They asked me what I wanted out of the house. I didn't want any of my dad's shit.
I want all your cast iron.
I just want that cast iron right there. I took that whole
That's all
fucking
he
cast. I got a big cast iron fucking
And
deep
when he
fryer.
told me that, I was just kind of like, yeah, that's right.
I got a cast iron deep fryer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go try to find one of those. That bitch was from the 50s.
Yeah.
Wooden handles on it.
That's good shit, man.
Yeah.
You been making some good shit in that.
Yeah.
Made some butter chicken in that.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
But to answer your question, in case you only clean cast iron with heat and water. Just empty the
like
pan.
I said, anybody
Put the cast iron back on the fucking skillet, or put the cast iron back on the heater, burner. Put some water in it, swash it around. Maybe a rubber spatula, get some shit over, and then just take a wet, damp, pour all the water out. Take a wet, damp towel and just fucking wipe it out, and it's ready.
Yeah. I mean, even I know that, and I'm like,
That's it. You never fucking put soap on that shit.
I learned that when I was a kid because my grandma had
Yeah, because you got a southern grandma.
Well, yeah.
I was up north and fucking no.
She used to make cornbread in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, even I knew that from a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's because you're southern.
Yeah. You might be able to answer this question.
Okay.
Tammy asks, has anyone heard from Murder Hornet lately? He's been MIA.
No.
Xanada said probably in Mexican jail, Tammy.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him in a couple of days.
Oh, okay.
I'll
So
check.
you haven't either. Cause
I haven't really been
Because Tom talks to him
Almost
all the
every day,
time,
almost
every day.
He messages me almost every fucking day.
And sometimes he calls my phone.
Yeah.
Because he thinks it's Tom's
He thinks it's
phone.
my phone. Yeah, he tries to call me. He gets drunk, or
He gets drunk and then I take my phone and there I'm like,
yeah,
he's calling you again.
yeah. Murder Horde, it's a trip. He'll fucking video called me one time through his phone, and he's in a Mexican brothel with all the girls lined up. And he goes, pick one out for me. And I said, that one in the fucking pink shorts. Yeah, that's the one I was looking at too. And then he goes, oh, that was fucking Murder Horde, man.
I mean,
yeah,
it's a whole thing.
it's a whole thing. Yeah.
But yeah,
He's like Han Solo. He lives in America, but it's on the Mexican border. And he's like me. He's a VA guy, so he just gets paid. Okay.
Yeah, he just gets a check.
He gets
every
his
month.
check.
Well, not a check. It's direct deposit. It's
It's direct deposit.
It's the 21st.
It's the same shit. Fucking it's the same shit. What's his name's on? Fucking
Who, Jack Reacher?
Jack Reacher. It's the same thing. He puts his in a money order. He didn't want anybody tracking him. Remember that? Or no, Western Union.
Yeah,
Paying people with Western Union shit. Old fashioned shit. Jack Reacher. Got that Jack Reacher money.
Yeah.
But he does the same things. He just lives right up there on that Mexican border and spends a lot of times in Mexico. He's got bum friends and everything.
Yeah, he
He'll
knows
fucking take his phone out and go,
all the hobos.
because look at that. Look at it. He knows them by name. He's kicking him. Wake up, man. Wake up. You know.
That's not nice. Don't wake up the bomb.
No, because he wants to wake him up because he needs him as a guide.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to pay him. So, yeah. He's got bum guides. Yeah.
Bum Sherpas.
Yeah, it's like Sherpas, yeah.
Or hobo Sherpas. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't speak Spanish.
Okay, so he does need somebody to...
He doesn't speak Spanish.
Maybe he should learn. Like, he's going in there.
Yeah, he should learn by now.
Yeah, like, download a fucking app, bro. It doesn't take that long.
See, they got these Mexican bums that live there that speak English and Spanish, so he can talk with them and they'll take him places.
Doesn't that make him feel, like, inadequate? He's like, look, even a bum is bilingual and you're not.
Yeah, yeah. He's got regular places he goes though,
Okay.
and they speak English there. But
I mean, if I was going to Mexico all the time, I would for sure like learn to at least speak some Spanish. I took Spanish in school like a long time ago. Not in high school, actually in elementary or junior high.
Yeah.
I took French in high school.
What's up, Side Quest Hero?
She's been here a long time.
Yeah, she says nothing beats an excellent cast iron. Oh yeah, my cast iron's the shit, bro.
I mean,
there's no fucking non-stick pan that can compete with my cast iron. You can fry eggs on it. You don't even have to lubricate it. I got a little egg fucking skillet that's that big around. You can put 4 eggs in there or 2.
eggs.
Put it on the heat. Then go in there with a fucking rubber spatula, and flip those eggs right over. They won't stick. You don't have to put anything in that. That shit is fucking. What's that fucking? It's better than any Teflon pan.
Yeah. Tammy says Murder Hornet does speak Spanish. I've heard him in his videos.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Ooh.
He must
But then
fall into the
Xanadu
low.
said it's good for the bum economy that he uses them to translate. Don't cause them to lose their jobs.
Yeah. This is a bum economy.
I guess.
Yeah.
What's up, Sly? Sly says my wife cooks in the bedroom. I cook in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, honestly, like I can cook some stuff, but it's just kind of like
I don't have time, man.
I don't have time, and I don't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like I lived alone for a while, and even when I was married, I was usually like I would cook myself lunch every day because I was home by myself because I worked at night and my ex-husband worked during the day. So I can cook. It's just I don't enjoy it. Tom enjoys it.
Yeah, I used to go over to her place before we were an item, and go to her apartment and fucking cook fucking Thai food. Remember that?
Yeah.
Make some green curry.
Yeah, he would
Thai
come over
green
to my
curry.
house because here's the
Coconut
thing:
milk,
when
fucking-
I was living by myself, I was working.
Now that we're married, we can throw all your old fucking pots and pans away. I would think. What do you think?
Well, I thought we already had.
No, I think I still got them.
Why do you still got them?
I will throw that shit
We
away.
don't need those.
Yeah, cheap shit anyway.
Yeah, that was just
That
like
shit you
cheap
got
shit
from
we got at
Dollar
like
Store.
fucking Big Lots. Or
Big
whatever.
Lots,
It was
yeah.
Big Lots. I remember.
Yeah.
We went there and
Yeah.
spent like $200 because he's like, you don't have any fucking thing in this house.
Yeah.
And he bought like bowls and pots and spices and like all this
I
stuff.
bought shit. Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm never here because when I had that apartment,
Yeah.
I worked in Daytona, which is, like an hour and a half drive. And so I would drive over there and I would stay at my friend's parents' house like for a couple nights a week.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to drive all the way back, you know what I mean? So I could just because they lived in Daytona and I'd known them like forever, like pretty much my whole life since like junior high. So they let me stay there like in their spare room. He gave me keys and everything like that, so I could just like come and go, and I didn't have to drive all the way back to Orlando. You know what I mean? So I was hardly ever in my apartment.
SideQuest says she finds fucking cooking and cars therapeutic. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
I just enjoy eating. I find eating therapeutic.
Yeah. See, SideQuest is my military lesbian doppelganger. Fuck, we got a lot in common. She's also ex-military. But yeah, I didn't know that you liked cars though.
Tom also likes cars.
Yeah, I like cars.
Cars, guns, cooking.
Cars, yeah. But like I said, right now I like luxury. I like
big
American.
titty
I like American
ladies.
luxury cars now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too much into like sports cars because they're too slow. I got motorcycles. If
You're
I wanna
kind of
go fast,
you're
I'm gonna
kind of
go
more into motorcycles. I feel like.
Right. If you want to go fast, I'm going to get on a motorcycle.
Tom actually went on a motorcycle ride today this is the first time you've been out in a long time.
Because I was running from the heat.
You guys,
It's fucking hot.
today,
It was cool.
it was beautiful.
Maybe
Like,
70 degrees.
we
Maybe
went-
68, 70.
we went out this morning like to go to the grocery store. It was
Yeah.
like 10:30 in the morning, and I walked out the door and I went, like it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like fall, and I was like, wow.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, like people in other parts of the country are like, big fucking deal. It's like the end of October. No. You don't understand. It doesn't get like that in Florida.
No.
This early. Not usually.
Usually
It'll get hot again,
Usually
like
you open
tomorrow, though.
it'll be hot, but usually you open the door this time of year, and a wall of steam hits
Yeah,
you.
it's like,
it's
and
fucking
you're like,
100 degrees or 90 degrees, 100%.
And it's like that until like Christmas time, pretty much.
Yeah. Now it's going to be on and off. Part of it had to do with the storms, but it was like air conditioning.
Yeah.
It was cooler outside than it was in this air
I was like,
conditioning.
holy fuck. I was like, if I didn't have to work and have
Yeah.
meetings today, it's like I would just sit out here and be like,
Yeah.
because I know it's going to get hot.
And the air was-
tomorrow it's going to be 95
And the
degrees.
air was crisp, man. My Buell was fucking getting plenty of fucking oxygen in it. When the humidity's high, the fucking air-cooled Harley-style motor will feel a little bit of bogging. It's not quite as fast as it normally is. You're not getting enough air. Because air expands. Hot air expands. So you're not getting as much air molecules when it's hot. It gets colder. The colder it is, the more air you're getting into that engine with each little fucking breath. Fucking more molecules. But my shit was running good today.
Well, yeah, like I said, I'm glad you got out and experienced, because like I said, if I didn't have to work, I'd have been like outside running around today too. Because
Then I
it was
pulled
so
out the
nice
12.
out.
I pulled out the 1203 and ran it around because I was having problems with it a couple months back. When I wrote it, it blew a fuse in the fucking instrument cluster. So I replaced a fuse and went back in there and wrote it again. Tried to get it to malfunction. I couldn't get it to malfunction, but I noticed my neutral light was kind of iffy. Once I slowed down, it would read neutral even if I was in first gear. But for a little bit, and then it would go back to first. Then the neutral light would go off. There was something going on electrical. My neutral indicator light is vague. Not the gearbox. but just the light that indicates where the gearbox is. So it's telling me something electrical is happening. There's a short somewhere, I think. But it's hard to find. It's going to take time.
Yeah, I'm just, glad everything worked out.
Yeah. I'm gonna ride the 1203 tomorrow.
Yeah, because you hadn't been out in a while, and I was just kind of like, man, I hope nothing happens. Like he takes his tablet, and it's like I keep everything open, so I was just like, man, and I have the car here, so if something bad happens, I can go pick him up or whatever. Yeah. But you know what I mean. He doesn't he just rides around, goes to Starbucks, shit like that, hangs out. Sometimes goes to Oasis. You didn't go to Oasis today, did you?
Yeah.
You did?
What?
You didn't go to Oasis today, did you?
No. If I go to Oasis, I'll go Friday, because Chris will probably be there.
Mm. Yeah, you haven't been there in a long time either.
No, it's only fun in the day.
Well, yeah, I can imagine.
Friday during the daytime, that's biker time. Friday.
Yeah. I've been there a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was on Friday or not.
My boy Chris shows up. He's also ex-military. That's another one of them 6'5" motherfuckers who's on steroids and shit. Big dude. He's younger than me by probably about 10 years. He's got that new fucking Triumph. That fucking thing that's faster than a Diablo. It's almost like a Ducati Diablo. I think it's Rocket 3. I think's what it is. It's not the one that looks like a cruiser. It looks like a street fighter. That thing is bad as shit. He pulls up in that thing. And he's also got a big dog chopper. So I don't have a chopper.
Yeah.
I need to get a Harley.
Really?
Sometime or another, yeah.
Oh my god, you really are an old person.
What? A normal person?
An old person.
An old person, yeah.
Like you're talking about getting a Harley.
Yeah, but
because you just have kind of sport bikes, you know.
Yeah, but I don't want a cruiser with bags, like a full bag Harley. That's not what I'm looking for. I want more like a chopper.
Oh, okay. That's
chopper
that's
or a bobber or something.
I was like, man, okay, because you're always making fun of those big fat dudes in this.
Yeah, on the full.
That might as well be a car.
Might as well be a car.
You know what I mean? Which I used to look. I grew up in Daytona. I see a lot of those motherfuckers on Bike Week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually would like a rat rod fucking chopper. If it was matte color with rust on it and a bunch of fucking polished aluminum or something. I don't even want chrome on it. Just something that looks really cool. Some Daryl Dixon looking fucking thing, even though his bike was a Triumph. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So something that wouldn't cost much.
All right, like I said,
yeah.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. I don't care. I don't care what you do. You can buy whatever.
Shit like that.
You can buy whatever.
Shit like that could show up on Facebook Marketplace in my area because this place is filled with those things.
Yeah.
And might find a used one, but the problem is a lot of times when a fucking chopper shows up, it's a Sportster. Now, I don't want a Sportster. I want a fucking big bike. I want the fucking, you know what I mean, the engine and the fucking primary transmission separate. You know, the big bike.
Phantom brings up the Oasis stripper crockpot chili story.
Yeah, well, there were strippers there, and there were a crockpot chili story. Must be talking about a time when.
I don't remember what that.
It wasn't crockpot chili. It was a bunch of fucking. And that wasn't the same day.
Okay, so
they had strippers.
We're conflating several different things.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what he's talking about.
So. The stripper was having a birthday party.
Okay, so stripper birthday party
at the Oasis.
Okay.
And then on another day they had they were giving out free beef, roast beef. There was stuff in crock pots, but I don't remember what it was. I sat there and ate beef all fucking day.
I remember that because I remember you sending me a video.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah.
But I don't remember the stripper birthday party.
Yeah, stripper birthday party, yeah.
I don't think you sent me videos from that.
Yes, and then I don't know where that strip club was. It must have been out in the country because they were all cowgirls. They were young, 18, 19,
Are there
20.
Any strip clubs around here?
Yeah, there are some country strip clubs. And they were 18, 19, 20, and they were in cowgirl boots.
I can't think of where they would be.
And they weren't costumes. They were fucking country as fuck. And their boyfriends were with them who were fucking redneck as shit with trucks and shit. And they were sweet. And they were up there fucking, talking to the fucking old fat motherfuckers trying to get them to go to the fucking club, the strip club. They didn't fuck with me. They knew better.
There's a lot of bars around here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always kind of laugh because there's always this one bar. I can't remember what the fucking name of it is, but it kind of looks like you've been there a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because you used to live here before I met you.
Yeah.
In this area, not here, but in
couple
this
blocks,
area.
about a mile, 3 miles.
About a mile from
3
here.
miles, yeah.
And so you had been to this bar a long time ago because it's been there forever. I don't remember what the name of it is, but we passed it. It's right next to the liquor store. and they have naughty bingo on Monday. They usually have bands and shit and karaoke and stuff.
That bar actually sucks.
I've heard that. Well, you
sucks.
told me it sucks.
It
I've
sucks.
never been in there. That's it. I would never go in there probably. But
It's brightly lit. It's got fucking weird games. It's got foosball tables and stupid shit like that. And you can't really talk to. It's not like a bar scene where you got a U-shaped bar and you can yell at the other dude across the other side of the bar.
Talk to people and stuff.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's all in a line and it's broken. There's like two straight. It's not a cool place to hang out, really.
I'm always kind of
But
like
young rednecks like it. For some
I always
reason.
see the sign because we always pass it like on our way out of town, and I was always like naughty bingo on Monday. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I ain't going in there. I'd get in a fight in there.
You probably would.
Yeah, that's what would happen.
I probably also would.
I'd go in there and some of them redneck girls that fucking weren't unattached that all the dudes were vying for would come up, try to fucking talk to me and shit, and then the other dudes tried to fucking fight and I'd beat them up. They're all fat or skinny, most of them. They just get beat up, but
Oh my god.
it's a younger crowd, you know.
Yeah.
I like to be with the old people, the old bikers. I show up there and I feel like I'm the youngest one there.
You probably are.
No. A lot
You're
of them,
not?
half of them are my age, but you look at them, they look like 20
Well, I was
years
gonna say
older.
they probably like all look much
Yeah,
older.
they look much older. Bad shape. Missing teeth and shit.
Yeah. See.
The women are missing teeth. They got women in there that are fucking probably
Meth.
Jenny's age that look like they're in their 60s.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's like, we talk about that all the time because it's like, especially around here, which
Yeah.
Meth is a hell of a drug, as we say.
Yeah.
And spending most of your life out in the sun and having your skin turn into
Yeah.
leather, that probably doesn't
Yeah.
help either. But like, so a lot of them, you go in these places, these kind of redneck bars, and it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, Tom's always just like, you realize that woman's like younger than you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, holy crap.
Yeah, and
She
my
looks
favorite-
like a handbag.
Yeah, and Amy's works in there. She's like my favorite fucking local bartender.
She's cool. She
And
lives across the street
lives
from
across
us,
the street.
literally.
Yeah, she's a big titty biker chick. She's about my age. And I got videos of her and shit. Fucking, she's pulling her titties out, fucking grabbing my head, putting it in her fucking titties and shit. She loves Jetty. And fucking,
She does, yeah.
I show up there. I'll be in there for an hour or two, and some chick will leave, and she'll fucking run up to me. That bitch tried to buy you a drink. She tried to buy you 2 drinks. I said, you ain't buying him nothing.
Yeah.
I said, well, she wanted to
She's
buy me a drink.
gatekeeping.
She could buy me a drink. No. Because if she buys you a drink,
what,
she's
free-
going to be over there talking to you. I ain't having that. I said, you're not having that? Fuck no, you married. I said, yeah, that's right.
I
She-
imagine. I'm glad that she watches that. Amy watches my back.
Yeah, and she loves Jen. She wants to have like a threesome and shit.
Yeah. Because I've
She
been to
does-
that bar a
yeah,
couple of
yeah,
times,
yeah.
and every time I come in there, she's
Yeah.
just like.
Yeah,
she's like
she's
that,
all,
like,
yeah.
she's all over.
And
me.
she showed, we do shit, I got video of it. She'll show me fucking photos and videos of fucking weird shit she does. Cause she does that regularly, or semi-regularly. So she's not bluffing. She'll fucking jump into a bed with a couple fucking in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But she's fucking got your back. As far as she's concerned, I only belong to you and her. I guess. I don't fucking know.
I appreciate that, Amy.
Yeah,
I really do. I
yeah.
appreciate it. I just like I said,
Yeah.
I trust you. I don't,
Yeah, no, she's
I know
not-
you're not doing that shit, but
No,
it's
yeah.
like I do appreciate her. Well, because
Yeah.
here's the funny thing: I didn't even know about the lady trying to buy you a drink thing.
Yeah,
and so
there's
we
a lot
were,
of 'em.
We were in Publix the other
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
said to me, when
That's
we
one
saw
of
some
'em.
lady in the produce department, he's like, "I'm pretty sure that's
that's
this
one of 'em.
lady tried to buy me
Yeah.
a drink." Like I was like, "What?"
Yeah, because that's
Like,
the one.
she tried to buy me a drink
That's
in
one of
Oasis
them.
the other day.
The one she was talking about that one time when I told you the story, what she said, it wasn't that particular woman. There was another one.
Oh, that was a different one.
Yeah, there's several of them. There's several of them.
You
They're,
getting-
they're regulars in there, and they're constantly trying to. But they don't have a shot, man. They don't have a fucking, not even fucking close. It's all fantasy.
Well,
And those old bar flies have fucked all those fucking nasty old fucking dudes and
Oh, I'm
shit.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. They're bar flies.
yeah.
Redneck bar flies.
Yeah, they just probably hang out in
They
there
hang
all the
out
time.
there all
It's
fucking
just
day,
like some-
drinking during the day.
Yeah, so I mean, we kind of do that sometimes
Mm-hmm.
too, but not usually. We usually drink in the evening.
Yeah.
We're not that bad.
The place is like Moss Isley Starport. Fucking.
It is kind of like that.
The star. This is like something straight out of fucking Star Wars.
It's not that scary, but it's just kind of like
It would be scary to a European. Would find that very scary. There's guys in there obviously carrying guns in the bar.
I mean, I've never really felt. Mostly,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like I go in there and it's just like the music selection is usually terrible and
Country music and shit.
yeah. So it's like
Yeah.
usually I'm just kind of like, oh my god.
I've been at the bar
okay.
before and fucking because you got constitutional carry here. You can legally carry guns. If you can legally own a pistol, you can legally carry it in the state of Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, I think Louisiana too, Tennessee maybe. But the thing is though is that it's not legal to carry them in a place that's fucking selling alcohol.
Alcohol, yeah.
You can't take one into a
I mean,
bar.
for obvious reasons.
But if it's a bunch of bikers,
No one's gonna say anything.
if it's a bunch of bikers, nobody's gonna give a shit. But fucking, I was sitting there talking. It's somebody I mentioned talking to a dude that I know, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I just got this 3 months ago. And it was a fucking Sig 3P6. It's a Sig P365, nice little 9mm subcompact. He's ex-military and biker, and he had it in a fucking front carry rig. He goes, "Oh yeah, look at that. You don't shoot. Oh, what do you got? You know?" And they put it right back in. But he's at the bar.
Yeah. Which don't get too fucked up.
Yeah,
Or you might.
but it's not like everybody cared. Nobody fucking zoomed in like, whoa. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck.
I mean, we're kind of out in the country too.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
No one really cares.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sly also asked what was naughty bingo. That's what I always want. I was
I
like,
don't know.
what? As like, is it strip bingo or is it just bingo with swear words or what's that about? Like, I don't really get. How do you make bingo naughty? Like, if you don't when you get, I don't know. Is it like strip poker? Like as soon as if you get a number right, it's like ooh, that you take off a piece of clothing. I don't know.
Go to the restroom.
I'm not going there to find out either. I mean, I guess I could just Google it. But it's just I see it on the sign like every time we pass. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, how do you even? I don't know. I don't know what that even means. Phantom said, Jenny, what's your next Halloween movie review going to be for Scare Salon? I don't know about that, but I just put up. If you follow my Scare Salon channel, I just finally put up my top 5 favorite movies from 1984. I am gonna I'm trying to do like more Halloween themed movies and books like leading up to Halloween, like whenever I have time to do them. The next one I want to do WNUF Halloween special from 2013, which I just watched on Shudder like yesterday. So I'm gonna do a review of that. I also read a anthology called The Halloween Store. It was an anthology, but it was all the stories were by the same author. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to try and review that too. And I have a couple other Halloween books checked out. And I have like a couple like written down that I want to do. Like, I don't know. If I get time to do them, like I'll do that. CBS, if we've ever been to a fetish bar. Yeah, lots of times. Lots of times. I went to some fetish parties been to some in Tampa, been to some in, not Miami. What the fuck? What's really... Pompano Beach, somewhere like that. Been to a couple of fetish parties down there. Me and Tom have been to some. They have fetish parties at the castle sometimes. We used to go to the one at that gay bar, Southern Nights. They had that every month. So yeah, we've been to a bunch of them. But yeah, Xana said Tom is just a piece of meat. He is.
Yeah, they've tried to use
He
it.
doesn't. He doesn't.
I got videos to prove it, bro.
Mind.
I'm pulling that shit up right now.
Oh, is that what you went to do? Is that what you
No,
went to do?
I had to go to the restroom and I grabbed my other tablet.
I do too, actually.
Yeah. All right.
Should I get another drink or
Yeah, go ahead and make a small one.
a small one?
Small one. We don't really have time to.
I mean, it's only 9:30.
Go 9:30. Okay.
And we've already, like I said, we talked about the case, so I feel
Yeah.
bad that we went
So
sidetracked.
so this is all sidetrack action.
Yeah. Extra.
Trying to see. All right. That's Amy at the bar. Yeah. That's the girl we're talking about. She lives across the street from us. Let's see. I had some other ones. It's also Amy. She's gonna try to pop her titties out. Yeah. So that's what kind of space we're talking about there. Okay. This is what you got parked outside. You got shit parked outside the club like that. That's outside the biker bar. Muscle cars and motorcycles. 70s cars. That's my, yeah. Yeah. This car is beautiful. The dude that dude builds cars, he's got like 4 or 5 of them like that. I don't remember if that's a Camaro or I think it's a Camaro. That's me at the biker bar fucking drinking. No, just showing pictures of the bar.
From the Oasis.
Yeah, the Oasis.
Midnight at the Oasis.
Yeah.
Every time you talk about that place, that fucking song starts. Yeah. Like that song gets stuck in my head.
Oh, this is a good one.
I can't see what that is.
Me drinking, and then she jumps in the back trying to fucking dance.
Because she sees you filming.
Yeah, she sees me making a video. She starts fucking trying to take her top off.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That's my 1203 right here. I'm going to show it here in a minute. That's my bike right there. It's an XB12 with a race tail. Race modified.
That looks really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen
It's
that.
one of them. This is my other one. That's my XB9 Lightning. Yeah. They're both
is
in
that Starbucks?
That's Starbucks.
Yeah,
They're both in real good condition. This is rally happening. That's downtown Sanford.
Do they still do that? Do they still do bike night?
Yeah, they still do it. I just haven't been in a while.
Yeah. When was it? It used to be Tuesday nights. I don't know if it's still.
Yeah.
Some mannequins used to have a thing for it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they still do that.
Biker action.
It's been a long time.
Can't really see. Fuck it. All right. All right.
Sly said, I watched the new Salem's Lot. Did not like it.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like it.
It was
I thought
alright.
it was okay. I thought it was okay.
I mean, I think I liked it less after we rewatched the original one.
Yeah, then you're like, yeah, they missed a bunch of shit.
Well, you know, the original one's like much longer. You know what I mean? Oh, so we're talking about Naughty Bingo. SideQuest Zero says, Google says you have to make things in the shape of body parts instead of straight lines. Wow, that sounds really convoluted. That's not at all. I never would have thought that that's what it was. So wait, you have like on your bingo card, it's like you have to make a dick shape. How does that even work?
I don't know.
That sounds really dumb. That sounds really dumb. Phantom asks, what's the top speeds on your bikes?
The XB9 top speed, it's kind of regulated out to end up being 135. The 1203 tops out at about 145. But the thing is that the 1203 is about kind of more equivalent. Kind of more equivalent to say like a CBR 650. A lot of the same stats on it. What's the problem? Just leave it alone. It'll figure it out.
It's too bright.
So the difference with something like a Buell, it's air cooled push rod, 2 valve per cylinder. They get very good gas mileage, 45 miles to a gallon. It's a shit ton of torque. It's like 85 foot-pounds of torque. All right, that's not to the rear, but to the rear it's probably in the 70s. But the bike doesn't weigh anything. Their stock dry is 388, and my shit's had a lot of weight shaved off of it. Running lithium-ion batteries that only weigh about 2 pounds. And a lot of carbon fiber. But they're going to top out at about 145 unless you're running downhill. But the strength is 0 to 90. The acceleration off the bottom, because it's got low end torque, is amazing. You'll leave a 600 in the dust. Now they'll catch up to you, okay, in like a high speed roll on. Like for instance, my 100 mile an hour to a 145 acceleration, like I'm next to a 600 going 100 and he's going 100, and then we just roll on to try to get to our top speeds. We'll both top out at 145 probably, but he'll be ahead of me a little bit because his acceleration curve was a little bit different than mine. So there's a trade-off. You're trading off top-end acceleration for a lot of bottom end, a lot of usable mid-range. On the street, it's really good. On the track, not quite as good because the track doesn't have stop-and-go traffic. It doesn't have four-way intersections or stop signs. And there's a lot of straightaways in them. So there isn't a fucking opportunity on a racetrack to really show off a bike like the Buell's acceleration from a dead stop abilities. From a dead stop, I leave everybody in the dust, including shit like Hayabusas and stuff. I leave you in the dust until I'm going about 40 or 50, and then the Hayabusa catches up and takes off. About like that. But if you just, from a stop, like dragging, on a 1/8 of a mile, maybe, or 1/16 of a mile, you'll beat anybody, you know. But most of your Harley Davidson style bikes make a lot of torque, and they just do that.
CB says, I should be in bed. I have work at 8:30 a.m. It's 2:35 in Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably should go to bed. Xanada said Tom needs a cell phone to live stream at the bar. Needs a young person to follow him around and just film him for a live stream on
Exactly.
Twitch.
Yeah, I need to, yeah. I don't have a cell phone.
I mean, I could go and film you, I guess, but
Yeah, I don't have.
I'm just trying to get the lighting back. This is really bugging me.
You could make a whole reality TV show, a whole reality YouTube show.
You probably.
Why is
could.
that highlit?
That's what I was just trying to tell you. When you put that
That's not what this is. Look at
in the thing.
Look at that.
Yeah. When you put that in
Yeah.
the camera, it
Yeah.
fucks the lighting all up.
No, it got smaller too. The image got smaller.
No, it didn't.
Why is it that blue thing?
That's because your thing is over it. That's because you're putting the call it.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't fix
Whatever.
it.
Cursor.
I can't fix it.
Okay, it'd be okay.
Victor says Terrifier 3, 4 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. But yeah, maybe we'll go this weekend and see it, and then we'll do a review on Monday. Because I can't think of any other movie to do. We did watch Species 2 also.
Yeah, watch Species 2.
It was
wasn't bad.
It was all right.
It wasn't bad.
Actually, Tubi has all 4 of them.
Yeah,
for free.
we'll eventually go see them all.
Yeah.
But two was okay.
It was okay.
It was okay.
I didn't like it as much as the first.
No, I think the first one was a little bit better. 4 was released directly to DVD, so I don't think that could be good. But I wouldn't mind just seeing them all, just because.
Yeah, like I said,
it's intellectual property that I never really saw.
They're all there for free. So
Yeah, you might as well see it. Yeah.
Xanada said, I can see all the stuff on your shelves now. And I can see BTK. And then Tammy said, and he can see you, Xanada. Oh my god. Yeah. Phantom thinks Species 2 is better than 1.
Yeah, he was saying that before. I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good, but I still think I like the first one better.
Kind of like more stuff happens in it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it had the same charm as the first one. It's hard, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. The second one was a good movie, but it just wasn't. I think it was the first one.
It's kind of like Under Siege. People were saying, "Tom, you look like fucking Steven Seagal." Somebody in the, badass. He said that and think. Well, thank you very much. Even Steven Seagal's not a badass though.
Well, no.
But not really. But
I was like, you want me to get a Sharpie and draw some hair on you? And then you'll look even more like Steven Seagal. Plus, you probably need to gain about 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Or more.
Steven Seagal did have some good movies though. Early on in his career, my favorite one of his was actually Under Siege. Okay, Under Siege is pretty good. It was like a fucking Die Hard ripoff. I also have on Blu-ray Under Siege 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, which that isn't bad either. It's pretty good, but it has some cheesier shit in it. I want to see it again. It has a really cheesy fucking villain who's going to use some satellite with some fucking whatever internet technology before internet existed, you know. I have to go back and see it again. I've only seen that one once.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
And fucking what's great about that one is that Steven Seagal is obviously fucking creeping. He's creeping the fuck out on this young girl.
Yeah, of course.
Like 17, 16.
He can't help it.
And
he can't help himself.
in the movie, she's his cousin. Okay. And of course, she's fucking, fucking in love with him and shit. She thought, and he's attracted, but he resists it.
Because he's just that.
Because he's Steven
honorable
Seagal. Yeah, he resists it. Yeah.
Oh, but she wants it though.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not how
That's
that would
just
go
like
in
something
real
straight
life.
out of a Steven Seagal movie. Even though he didn't
Okay.
write that one, but I think he had to approve it. I'm sure.
Yeah, he's like, no, make it so that the 18-year-old is like my 18-year-old cousin is like super wants to
The
be.
best Steven Seagal show out right now is on YouTube, and it's Count Dankula does a Mad Lads episode. He's from Scotland. He does a Mad Lads episode on fucking Steven Seagal, and he tells his whole history. Jen sat there and watched it with me. That was a pretty good.
Funny.
It's funny as fuck.
Not quite as funny as the Count Dante one, but the Steven Seagal one's pretty funny.
Yeah, you want to see Count Dankula's Steven Seagal. Count Dankula, yeah. You got He's Count Dankula. He's on YouTube. You want to see his Steven Seagal, and you want to see his fucking Black Dragon Fighting Society. Fucking what's that dude's name again? You just mentioned his name.
Count Dante.
Count Dante. Yeah, he tells the whole story of both of them.
And it's long. It's like
yeah,
like he goes like way into it.
So he was able to get a lot of shit from Count Dante, and fucking Dankula is fucking hilarious, man. He's got this Scottish, really thick Scottish accent, and he's just got a really good storytelling style. He's like the kind of dude I would hang out with at the bar and get fucking shit faced and hear him tell me stories.
Except you would have absolutely no idea what he was talking about because his accent is super, super.
Yeah, sometimes I'll say, what did he say, Jen?
I have to tell him what he said.
Okay, yeah, because I don't understand. Well, he's doing all kinds of things like dropping the first letters off the fucking words.
Well,
and
I'm
shit.
kind of I've never been to Scotland, but
Yeah.
I lived in the UK for a while, and my ex-husband was Welsh, so it's just kind of like, so I'm used to being around people with like really thick accents like that. So it's just kind of like most of the time, and I know like a lot of British slang and stuff, so it's just like most of the time I could translate.
Yeah,
because he does have a very, very thick accent.
Yeah, he'd make a great Southerner. He'd make a great redneck. Well, rednecks do come from that area. That's redneck culture, and the word redneck was actually being used in Ireland and Scotland before even America existed. My understanding, according to Thomas Sowell, historian. And then they moved here, and they still called them rednecks. They became Southerners.
Mike says it's his niece in Under Siege 2.
Niece.
You need to watch it again, Tom.
Yeah, niece. I thought it was cousin. Yeah.
Oh,
niece.
that makes it worse.
Niece. Yeah, that's right. Niece.
That makes it worse.
Yeah, that was the best part of the movie, though.
The fucking creepy uncle. Ew.
That was the best part of the movie because they threw that relative angle in there that it was his relative, and he was still fucking Steven Seagal creeping on this fucking
Did
chick.
you think that made it hotter? Probably.
Well, he
considering all the weird,
he thought it was hotter.
I fuck my stepmom porn there is out there.
He thought it was hotter.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I like who said that? Who said that?
Mike Barrett said that. It's his niece in Under Siege 2.
Mike Barrett. Yeah, Mike fucking. I've only seen it once, and I haven't seen it in about 3 years.
I remember. I don't think I've seen it, but I
again.
remember you telling me about that, and I was like, "Wow, that sounds awesome."
It was actually
not
kind of a good sequel. Better than really I kind of expected it to be. It was a very decent Steven Seagal movie. And he really only has like 4 of them that are good. Under Siege, Hard to Kill, Under Siege 2, and then there was another one. The one where he played the cop. Early.
That doesn't really narrow it down.
Oh, shit. He ran around in this fucking silly-ass fucking beret.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Silly-ass fucking army beret.
That doesn't narrow it down either.
No veteran would wear that beret as a cop in public, And I think it was just an airborne beret, like just a red one. Like from the 82nd Airborne.
Everything about that dude is just pure unadulterated bullshit.
I have those movies. But Hard to Kill was good too. The dude comes out of a coma and it's got his wife in it, Kelly LeBrock. That's right. That's good too. I think probably.
What the fuck was Kelly LeBrock thinking? She could have done so much better.
She was one of them chicks that fucking believed dudes that lied. The more they lied, she believed it. That motherfucker's got kids. He's got fucking 30 kids. It's like 30-something kids. And
he must target some women with low self-esteem.
Yeah, and I think he has 3 of them with Kelly LeBrock, 2 or 3.
Yeah, they have a
bunch of them.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine if that was my dad. I'd be just like, no, not related.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and he's got a bunch of them in Russia. He's in Russia, I think, most of the time because I think he's running from charges. I think he's running from sexual assault charges.
Yeah.
So he can't. He stays in Russia.
Yeah, because if he comes back here, he's gonna get arrested.
And Putin went and saw one of his fucking martial arts fucking displays, and he's doing all this fucking hokey shit. And they cut over to Putin in the audience, going like, "This is bullshit."
Yeah, him rolling around.
Yeah. Putin's going, "This is bullshit."
Getting people to well, even when he wasn't a huge tub. I kind of feel like even the videos that they showed of him doing martial arts, like it was dudes that were obviously, hey, I'm just gonna go like that and you go flying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just, oh my god, he fucking, yeah, it was just obviously like very,
The
very
problem
staged.
with Steven Seagal's movies, okay, well, he got kicked out of Hollywood. They wanted nothing to do with that dude after a while.
Yeah, because he was a fucking douchebag and like no one could work with him.
Yeah. There's one movie I want to see. It was like one of his last Hollywood movies. I think it was called Fire Down Under or something having to do with he's going to protect the Indians from the oil.
Oh, I remember hearing about it. I didn't watch it.
And they say that one's horrible, but I want to see that one.
I kind of his movies are good for like getting drunk and riffing it like MST style.
But the problem
Like
is
that's fun. But a lot of his movies are just kind of boring.
they're boring. That's the problem with his later movies. He was making movies that he wasn't in. That's another thing. He's got movies where he's not actually in them. And they're boring to watch.
He's like
they're
a cameo in his own movie.
Yeah, it's like supposed to be a Steven Seagal movie, and they show Steven Seagal like in a cockpit of something flying, but it's not his voice. He's been dubbed, and he's only in a couple scenes, and
he's
then
just like sitting there.
Yeah, he's actually
and they only
just
show him his
from
face,
the neck
like,
up
from here, so you can't see his double chin or his gut or nothing.
The one that fucking had me rolling was one that they kept trying. They kept offering it for free on YouTube, and I think it was called Sniper. Sniper or Assassin or something.
Like
and
some generic.
Steven Seagal fucking plays this fucking sniper in this fucking like hardcore military outfit. And they're, in the Middle East and shit, shooting dudes. And what's funny is that, first of all, he's fat as fuck. He's got stunt doubles to go up and down stairs for him.
Yeah, because it's like, look, dude, I get winded.
Yeah. I was in a recon platoon. Fucking our 4th platoon was a sniper platoon. Snipers and spotters. I know everything about fucking snipers. Know all their training and everything. Snipers are young guys. Late teens, early 20s. They're in fucking great condition.
I would hope so.
They're fucking badass fucking shots. These dudes are all in their 50s, 60s, 70s. They called back that general dude, a guy who always plays a general. All right, he does have some gravitas kind of sound, but generals are all fake and phony though too. That's another thing. You see a general on TV, a real general, he's actually fake. Those aren't real soldiers. They may as well be just like fucking off of Apocalypse Now. What Colonel Kurtz said, he says they're just grocery clerks trying to collect the bill, because they would be like coming from the more corporate world than they are the military world. But anyway. That one dude, he was in Under Siege, and he would actually be on a CNN correspondent sometimes during the first Gulf War. That's why they kept fucking calling him out. He's in this movie, and he's got to be close to in his 90s. And he shows up. They got him in uniform. Everybody's too old and too fat in the fucking movie.
I do not want a 90-year-old sniper. Like, look, I'm 52 and I can barely fucking see.
Yeah. Well, it was 90-year-old general. Fucking the sniper that they showed was fucking, Seagal. And he's in his 60s.
Still,
at the time.
Right? I'm 52 and
He's
I can barely
fat.
see.
All right.
I can't shoot nobody.
And they show him fucking on like Overwatch. He's overwatching a mission from a firing position. And he's sitting in a chair with sandbags around him like he's going to fucking shoot out this fucking tower window. Fucking snipers would never be in a place that you could ever fucking imagine as a firing position. A lot of times in a fucking, they were in an urban terrain in the Middle East. They'd never fucking be shooting out of a window. They shoot out of shit most of the time called loopholes, especially with the fucking situation. Jenny's like tapping her hand like, come on.
I'm getting behind.
We're gonna get to that shit in a minute. Let me fucking tell them something. Snipers go into a building. They'll keep all the fucking windows shut. They'll take a hammer and they'll bust a big 4 foot in diameter hole on the inner part of the wall, and then fucking make a 2-inch hole for the barrel and fucking stick out of that fucking. And they don't stick the whole barrel out. They're back off of it a few feet. It's just so the scope can see out of there. And they're laying on the ground. They're never in that window. You're gonna get shot. You're never shooting from a window. They're shooting from a hole they've cut in the side of the fucking building. That's what it's called, a loophole. But they got him sitting up in there like he's a king. Fat ass. It's because he's too fat to lay down. That's why they did that.
And also, he's too fat to stand up.
Too fat to stand up. He's too fat to walk up and down the stairs. They got a stunt double to show him fucking.
Put him in a chair.
Yeah.
And then he just commands some shit from the chair.
Yeah. And they're not talking in the mission. Sitting around fucking smoking and shooting the shit. Yeah, we're going to be here 3 hours from now. I'll shoot some dude that'll come. No. That dude would have been there a day before, 2 days before. And pissing in his own pants or pissing in a bottle or something. anything to keep the movement and the sound down to fucking nothing. And they're going to take one shot and they're going to leave. Usually a sniper takes one shot and he moves. Because if you do a second shot, chances are they'll be able to locate where the shot came from. And then they're calling artillery fire on you. So it's one shot and they move. It's just a high value target that they hit. This is what they're looking for. They're looking for a high ranking officer.
Xander says Steven Seagal should be charged for crimes against humanity for his fake martial arts. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least Chuck Norris can kick someone's ass even if he is a douchebag.
Okay.
Seagal can't even kick your ass. He just sucks. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Chuck Norris is also a douche.
Yeah, douche.
Big time. And he takes himself too seriously.
Yeah.
But at least Chuck Norris is a real martial artist. I will give him that.
Well, I got hold on. I got to defend Seagal. Seagal is a real martial artist.
Just, it's not a good martial art.
He knows Aikido. Aikido is not really a martial art that you could use. It was, I think, if I remember correctly, it's a martial art that was used so a peasant could defend himself against a fucking samurai that had a sword. A lot of it had to do with kind of like judo throws and blocks. You know, it's not like, say, Taekwondo or... And Taekwondo, I'm not sure how real Taekwondo is, because when I was in Korea, all these fucking so-called fucking Korean commandos with all these fucking high levels, they wore a little fucking patch on there with lines underneath it. It was a patch of a fist pointing at you with a certain amount of lines underneath it. If there was like one line, it was what level they were. And fucking hand-to-hand fighting. There were dudes that fucking were like the highest level of hand-to-hand fighting who go down to Hooker Hill and get their fucking asses kicked. You know what I mean? So it was ritualized training. The East is about ritual and about fucking standardization and repetition. It's not about creativity. It's not about free-flowing shit. And that's what Bruce Lee would complain about. Bruce Lee said all these systems are just limitations.
Rightfully so.
We got to have a fucking system where you're fighting. It's a real fight. Okay? And what he was talking about is MMA. MMA. That's what... And what, to Count Dante's credit, that's what Count Dante was imagining. He was trying to bring MMA.
I mean, Count Dante was a crazy person.
Oh, he was crazy, yeah.
But he was a really good martial artist.
He'd fuck you up. He was crazy.
He wasn't fake.
Yeah, he could fight.
But he was a crazy person.
He could fight and he could fuck you up. All right. Now, he had a bunch of guys fucking riding on his coattails, fucking copying what he was doing, and they were LARPing. And the main one would be Ashita Kim, who was a fake ninja.
Yeah, we talked about him at length on our Bullshido show.
He loved Count Dante. He tried to be kind of like... He wished he was Count Dante. But he wasn't. He was a LARPer. That dude couldn't fight. They challenged... All kinds of dudes challenged him to a fight. He would... No, I'm too deadly. Yeah, the dude weighed a fucking $120. He weighed a $120. He'd have got his ass fucking kicked. Okay.
I'd kill you, then your fucking parents
Yeah,
would
he was
sue
one of
me.
those. He's one of those.
And I don't care enough about you to bother.
Yeah.
That was from The Breakfast Club, by the way, if you're not old.
The first modern martial artist, in my mind, would have been Bruce Lee. Okay, and Bruce Lee was calling bullshit on martial arts. He would straight up say, most martial arts is bullshido. You know, bullshit. He could fight, though, and he was fast. If you were to show... Bruce Lee MMA, he would go, "That's it. That's what I was talking about."
That's pretty much what he
he goes, "That's what I was talking about." And the thing is that Bruce Lee was a man. He'd go, "I want to do that," and he'd fucking gain 30 pounds of muscle and learn the ground game, and he'd get in there if he wasn't making movies, and he would have been in there and fucking doing MMA.
He was a pretty cool dude, Bruce Lee.
Yeah, he was a good dude. I liked him. And people forget though that Bruce Lee was an actor.
Yeah.
He came from Chinese theater, which is more dancing, and it had kung fu shit. But he was trying to turn it into a real fighting art. But there was no platform which to go to make it a fighting art. That's why you got motherfuckers like Frank Dux talking about the kumite. Making up death matches and shit. Mm-hmm. The kumite is just MMA match. That's all they're describing. It's not some underground thing with the fucking Chinese tongs and they're going to fight to the death.
But it's much more fun thinking about that, though.
They fight to the death in MMA. It's just that rarely does a dude die. Same thing in boxing. Dudes have been killed boxing.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them have.
Yeah.
But it's not like in the rules.
It's not in the rules. Not that you're supposed to kill a dude.
You're not supposed to kill him, but sometimes it happens.
Yeah, you're fighting him into submission. That's all you do.
Sometimes it happens. Victor said, "Damn, Steven Seagal's oldest kid is 49 years old."
Yeah.
And yeah, he's 72. Somebody said.
Yeah, 72 now.
And Victor also said his oldest son was pretty hot back in the day. I've never seen any of his kids. I don't think. Hopefully they don't look anything like him. For Christ's sake. Hopefully they got their mother's look, and not Seagal. Seagal, it's like I'm not even. I don't know. I don't even really think he was good looking. I guess maybe from a objective point of view, I guess he was like all right looking, like back in the day, like when he was young. But I don't know, man. It's just like it's not. I don't know. He's not my type, I guess. And he always like looked really, even like the expression on his face. He just always looked really condescending and douchey. Like he always looked like, you know, I'm the biggest, smartest person in the room. And that just is a big turnoff. So it's like, I don't know if that's what it was, but he just always looked like that. I think that's one of the things, and I know this is kind of off, but that was one of the things I didn't like about Tom Cruise. It's like he always came across like super, super cocky and like super arrogant. And he always looked like that. He always looked smug. You know what I mean? And I don't like smug. So, and it kind of comes across in their face. They just have that like smirky, and I'm not into that. It just pisses me off. Xander said Gary Busey made Under Siege good, not Steven Seagal. I probably agree with that. I mean, Gary Busey makes everything better.
Yeah, Gary Busey was in it. So was the other guy, though. What was his name?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah.
Even though they put him in a ridiculous outfit, but
that's what made it better.
But
the whole fucking thing was ridiculous. But Tommy Lee Jones and fucking what's his name? Fucking they made that movie. But Seagal was on his best behavior in terms of acting and everything, and the way the story went. Under Siege is the best Steven Seagal movie.
Well, because he didn't know that he could. Yeah,
it's watchable. It's very watchable. And it's because he doesn't go into any bullshit really. He's just it's just
a regular movie.
It's like they kept him contained.
And there were other actors that were like better than him,
putting on good performance and stuff.
So it didn't like entirely rest on his big fat shoulders.
And the way they edit it and everything, fucking Seagal comes off as very cool. And fucking
I didn't find him cool. I found him like insufferable.
Well, that's because you know him.
That's just
you know who he is.
No, even back then.
I saw him, but I didn't know. I thought it was real.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I was in the army when they showed us that shit. Fucking, we were up at South Camp in fucking Egypt, and they showed up with that movie and they played it at the bar in front of everybody. We were all at the bar watching it at South Camp, and the rumor was, oh yeah, he's ex Special Forces, and fucking I believed it. Okay, because some things seemed kind of plausible in the streets
before you could check.
Before you could check, because there was no internet, right? So it's not. I realized later on they put in another one sometime later, and I think it might have been Hard to Kill, might have been that one, where they show him running. And as soon as I saw that dude running, I go, that dude's never been in the military.
That's a gift, bro. You know that, right? Like,
yeah,
Steven Seagal's run.
Oh man,
it's like it's pretty famous.
As soon as I saw him run, I go, that guy's never been in the army.
There's gifs of him running.
He doesn't know how to run.
Because look at it.
It's like chicken winging, and fucking just you can tell that he's very uncomfortable.
Look, I look less dorky running than that, and that's saying something.
And he looks like he's a very weak runner. All right, to get into SF, Delta, SEAL, or whatever, those dudes are damn near marathon runners. That's how they're running is more important than fucking muscle power in a lot of those jobs for an unknown reason. Ex-SF guys, have been watching them on YouTube. I found out a lot about what was happening in the units back in the 90s when I was in them, because information didn't flow that well, and those dudes didn't talk back then, but they're talking now about what was happening. They were focusing on running a lot and a lot of push-ups and sit-ups because they didn't really have the money to give gyms. You know what I mean? That was something that the whole Army could do for free. You didn't have to buy them gym and gym times. And where are you going to have? When the Army moves, it's going to move around millions of pounds of weight, so every motherfucker in the whole unit can work out with weights before fucking 6 o'clock in the morning, fucking 5 days a week. You're going to need a fucking shit ton of weight. Think of how much that actually weighs to do that. So what they do is they do what's cheap. They make you run. Is that what makes the best soldiers? Probably not. Probably not. I've seen some private fucking contractor guys One of them was a ex-SF guy. He was ex-Ranger, SF. He did some other shit. And he owns a really big security company that run out of the Philippines. Executive security. They take care of problems in countries, you know what I mean? Like where you got kind of a shady government that's maybe having problems with some kind of rebels. You can send these guys down there and they're not going to say anything. Well, that dude and his son were winning bodybuilding competitions for fun. They just wanted to do it. And you look at them now, they're fucking big. They go out and do that. And most of their dudes look like that. Because they're not running. They're using vehicles. If you're big, you're strong, you're intimidating, you can just grab somebody at close range and fucking start shaking the shit out of them and they'll tell you something. You know, because you got a gun in your other hand. They're like a cross between cops and bouncers and SWAT team dudes. So, but what I was getting at is a lot of the shit that the Army does and all these services do, they don't do it because it's the best thing. They do it because it's cheap. Like make you run. It doesn't cost them anything.
Santa said, "There's nothing wrong with how Seagal runs. He just runs like a man who had his balls cut off."
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Dude, he's flapping his arms around and shit. His fucking elbows going out.
It's something.
That's not a way.
Like I said, and I'm pretty like dorky, like physically and stuff. But it's like even I was just kind of like, bro.
Anyone who's run any
Oh
distance, anyone who's done 2 mile, 5 mile, 10 mile runs, that's not how you run. You're very conservative with your upper body.
Well, yeah, you're gonna wear yourself.
Because you're gonna wear yourself out.
Because you're just like flailing around.
Around, yeah.
I don't know what that's.
And that doesn't make you faster. But he was
no.
He was doing that like he was swimming through the air, like it would make him faster. Here, let me give you some booze.
Mike says Ms. July made Under Siege.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
that was honestly my favorite part.
She popped out with them big old titties.
I was like, "Where's the naked lady in the cake?" That's the only part of this that I like.
That actress was in several movies, if I remember correctly.
She was
pretty
yeah.
cute. She's pretty cute. I think she was a nude model. I think at one time when she wasn't.
I have no idea.
I think she was in Playboy. I think
probably, but yeah, that's really the only part of it that I remember. Because that was the only part that made an impression. I was like,
she popped out and the titties went. Nobody's there, and fucking Steven Seagal sees her. Hey, how you doing?
Cute titties.
Yeah.
But you know, I also like titties. Xanada says Jean-Claude Van Damme is a huge asshole, but he would kick Seagal's ass. I agree.
Yeah, probably. Although Van Damme got his ass kicked in a bar, from what I remember. But that could happen to anybody.
Well, that could happen to anything.
You could just run around and fucking.
I don't
say
know
the
if
wrong
you guys
thing.
know, but there is a B Squad, Jean-Claude Van Damme. His name is Daniel Bernhardt. I can't remember. But he was in like some super, super low budget. The one that I'm thinking of, I saw on MST3K, and it was called Future War.
Yeah.
He looks almost exactly like Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he does all his moves and his face and like his facial expressions and everything like that. And I will never forget. Yeah, I will never forget, like, because they did the movie on MST, and they called him Jean-Claude Gosh Darn, which I thought was like, and I was like, yep, they fucking nailed it. But that's what they call him. So that's what I think. I'm sorry. I'm sure he's a nice man, but
now Sly mentions that Seagal was a real sheriff's deputy in one of the parishes in New Orleans. He had a whole reality TV show where he's kind of being like Dog the Bounty Hunter. But I actually looked more into that, and Count Dankula got into that also. Steven Seagal has no law enforcement training.
He does not.
And that was, they could deputize anybody if they wanted to. And that's all they did. And then everything else is they got cars that they kind of dressed up as cop cars. And he went out and they did like these reality TV things. Some of it was real, but it was real, like, you know, serving warrants on people. But they closed that show down because they busted through somebody's front gate and crushed a little puppy.
Yeah, they killed someone's dog.
Trying to serve a warrant. Yeah, and
there was a huge outcry.
There was a huge outcry.
Rightfully so.
And they're like, man, you just...
Don't kill fucking puppies. Come on now.
Right. Seagal was full of shit. That show was full of shit.
He doesn't
I've never seen it.
He doesn't have any law training.
No.
It's free on Tubi, I think, if you ever want to watch it.
That's probably hilarious.
I'm sure it is. Well,
I still don't have time to watch this.
I'd probably like get really tired of it, like after about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No, maybe 5 seconds. I'd probably get tired.
I gotta hand it to the dude though, man. The dude was around for a long time. He
He skated on bullshit for like a lot longer than he should have been allowed to, frankly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's obviously full of shit, but he's an entertainer. And he built a fucking core audience of fans that watch all his shit and believe everything he says.
Well, and he's also entertaining in another way, in a way that he probably didn't intend.
Yeah, but those people are not being entertained by his movies. You watch his movies now, and they're boring. Here's the thing:
they are very boring.
You can make a bad movie, but if it's entertaining, I'll like it. I'll still enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't care if it's bad. Just entertain me.
The problem with his movies is that they're boring. They're boring and they're stuffy and they're.
We watched one
very cliche.
I don't remember because all of them have like generic titles.
It was Sniper.
Was it?
It's such part of it. Yeah, we only made it like 1/3 of the way.
I don't even fucking remember. Wasn't there one? Because I saw one on. I think it was on Shitcase Cinema where he was talking about the one where wasn't he fighting vampires or something? Did he do like a vampire?
Yeah, we only saw pieces of that through a review from somebody.
Yeah, for like I just said, for Brandon Tennell.
I forgot what it was called.
Like he did a.
That one was about him.
Shitcase Cinema.
That was about him making a move on a fucking 18-year-old Asian girl. That's what basically.
I kind of feel like that happens in all of his movies.
Yeah.
Like, can we write in me like going after someone that's my granddaughter's age?
Yeah. He does that shit.
And everybody's like, "Really? Is that really what you want to?" Yeah, and I'm gonna check her for breast cancer.
Yeah, Shiatsu, man. He can find breast cancer just by rubbing your fucking cooch.
I mean,
he's rubbing your cooch. He goes, "You got breast cancer."
What is up? What is up with old dudes, man? What is that about?
He came from a time and a place like where Frank Dux came, pre-internet.
I feel like that's not even an excuse.
He came from a time pre-internet where you could lie about some shit, and a significant portion of the population would believe you.
Well, I mean that's still true.
Yeah, and if you were cool, you probably could get away with it for a long time. But because he was a douche, other people in Hollywood were making fun of him. Okay.
That's what I feel. See, I feel like because a lot of people bullshit.
They're bullshitting, right? Yeah, he's trying to put on a character.
But the problem is, the reason that he was so reviled, whereas other people that bullshit are not, is because he was no fun to be around.
Yeah.
He took himself too seriously.
He couldn't laugh at him.
He couldn't laugh at himself. Yeah. He was just kind of like, if he had just been cool and be like, yeah, whatever, and just like kind of rolled with it,
his career
then everybody would be like, all right, fine. Nobody would care.
His career would have been pretty long.
That he would have bullshitted. The reason that people like him and Chuck Norris and people like that, I feel like Chuck Norris did a little bit better. But if you don't have a sense of humor about yourself, you can't laugh at yourself, you can't just like hang out and be cool and shit like that, and you're all uptight, then you're going to have a bad time. Because people don't want to hang out with you, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, I think that's what happened. Not so much the bullshitting, because everybody bullshits. I'm just saying that.
In Hollywood, they're all bullshitting.
Well, yeah, and I think that everybody expects some level of bullshit.
Yeah, it's a show.
Yeah, because you're putting on a show, you're just like, everybody inflates, so you know what I mean? Yeah. It's expected. So you can get away with it as long as you're cool and everybody wants to hang out with you, you know what I mean? But if you act like that, then everybody's like, well, you're kind of a dick. I don't really want to, you're not any fun, you're just angry.
I think where it came from in terms of the martial arts fucking scene as known in movies and television in the American system was really kind of a product of fucking, of Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee, although he could fight and he knew martial arts, there's really only one recording of him in a match, and he did well. All right. Bruce Lee, who was like the icon of fucking martial arts in the U.S. and probably the world at that time, was an actor.
Yeah.
He was an actor. He was not a professional fighter. He could do it. He wanted to. But he would lose money if he did that because he was making movies in Hollywood. And in between shooting schedules, he'd be all fucking busted it up from these fucking matches and shit. And he wouldn't be getting any money from that because they don't make any money. But he was making big money in Hollywood. Okay.
And you'd be stupid to go get your ass beat for free when you were pretending to get your ass beat and making millions of dollars.
So because Bruce Lee was doing that, all the other dudes in martial arts like Frank Dux, fucking Chuck Norris to a very small extent. He could fight. He was in a bunch of matches.
And he trained a bunch of fighters also.
I'm gonna take Chuck out of what I'm saying. Actually, he has a history of fighting, so I'm not gonna talk about Chuck. He was legit. I didn't like him, but I didn't like his movies.
I didn't either.
But Frank Dux, Guys like fucking Ashita Kim. Fucking
Whatever his real fucking name was.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Yeah. And then Steven Seagal. They're looking at the way at the way Bruce Lee handled his career, and they thought they could do the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. The problem is that Bruce Lee didn't lie about where he was coming from. He told the truth. Okay. He was telling the truth about what he really thought about martial arts, and he was telling the truth where he thought it should go.
Well, he wasn't trying to be something he wasn't.
Right, but the thing is that fucking Bruce Lee was a showman. He could put on a show.
Yeah.
When he was on a talk show, he's putting on a show. He's not lying, but he is definitely putting on a show.
Well, yeah.
Well, they go on there and says, I could do the same thing, but I'll just bullshit my way through it.
Yeah.
Because they probably thought he was bullshitting.
But he wasn't really, because he could do he could back up all that shit.
Yeah.
Like I said, yeah, it was all showmanship and stuff, but he could do that stuff.
Yeah.
Like he had discipline, he had training, he had all that kind of stuff.
If you saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a guy playing Bruce Lee shows up in that movie. And he's kind of talking shit on set, and a fucking stuntman, played by Brad Pitt, throws the dude into a fucking car. That is based on a real true story.
That is based on something.
A real Hollywood stuntman kind of called bullshit in a certain way, in a friendly way, on fucking Bruce Lee, and picked him up and threw him against a car.
Because Bruce Lee wasn't a big dude.
Bruce Lee's a little guy. He's 5'5", maybe 5'4", or maybe 135 pounds. If your opponent can pick you up, you lose a lot of power because your punches aren't as strong. You're not connected to the ground.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like punching somebody if you're floating in a pool. Yeah. If you're floating in a pool of water, you try to punch somebody, you will not be able to hit them very hard. So, to make a point to Bruce, he just picked Bruce up and fucking threw him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a bigger dude, even if he's not trained.
Yeah.
If you're smaller than him, he's probably still going to kick.
Size is a huge factor in martial arts.
It is, yeah.
Excuse me. Size is a big factor in fighting.
Yeah.
But in martial arts, one of the promises that it makes is making the promise that a physically smaller and weaker person can beat multiple opponents who are bigger than them. That is not going to happen.
No.
Doesn't matter how good you are for martial arts. The odds are against you. They'll just dogpile you.
I mean, you probably just need a machine gun on.
Yeah. Well, MMA has proved it. Fights end up on the ground. Doesn't matter how good. And that's what would happen with Bruce Lee. If you put Bruce Lee in an MMA match, they wouldn't let him fucking stand there. They'd grab him and topple him, and then it would become a wrestling match, and they're fucking beating on him like that. Ground game, you know. But big difference between, say, Bruce and fucking Seagal. Seagal would never step in the ring with MMA.
No,
he'd never do that. He'd get his ass beat. He knew it. Bruce probably would.
Yeah.
He'd put on a bunch of weight, get strong, and learn fucking grappling techniques on the ground, and go, I can do MMA. And he'd go out and probably do some.
Well, yeah.
If he made money at it.
He might not win, but it's like he would get in there, and I feel like he would probably put up a good fucking fight.
Most professional fighters agree with what I'm telling you because I got this information from them, guys that know martial arts and MMA, and they said that Bruce Lee was good and that he would have picked up MMA quickly.
Yeah.
And he would have done good in it.
Yeah.
He was an actor though, but that doesn't mean it. Like, you know, fucking what's his name from fucking Bullet? Steve McQueen could fucking drive. He was a race car driver. He could also ride motorcycles real well.
Yeah, just because you're an actor, that doesn't mean
you're not good at it.
You can't do other things.
Right, yeah. Right.
People can do lots of things.
And Keanu Reeves is fucking really good with guns. I've seen him at the range. He's very fast, very accurate at close range. Now, can he do exactly what you see in John Wick? No.
Well, I mean, that's a movie.
That's a movie. When bullets are flying, you can't really get close to somebody. It's just the guy on the other side of the room. You're grappling one dude, and the dude 10 feet away shoots you. That kind of shit happens. But the way it's choreographed.
Yeah, of course.
Now, if you hand me one of my AR-15s, had an AR-15 to fucking Keanu Reeves, and he said, we're going to meet up in this fucking top floor of this building and shoot it out, you think I'm going to think it's a cakewalk? Well, no, that dude's fucking deadly. Okay.
Yeah,
Deadly.
I would not want to get in a gunfight with Keanu.
You hand it to a random motherfucker I know, I can handle him. You know, a guy that's not good with guns. I can handle you. But I've seen him train. He's good. He's fast. All right. He's fast and accurate. I would just revert to, I'm going to fucking wait right here in ambush, and when he steps around the corner, I'm going to blast him.
You hear that, Keanu?
That's the best way to do it.
We love you.
It's just to let you walk into my gun barrel. That's how I would do it. I would just lie in wait. quietly as possible till you came around a corner and pop you.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is that I know a lot of people like disparage like actors and stuff like that, but it's like a lot of them do train to do this stuff. Obviously, it's not as impressive as they show in the movies, but a lot of them do train to some extent to make it like look at least kind of believable.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so they can do some of that shit. Probably more than just like some random schlub on the street.
Tom Cruise can shoot. He can shoot. I've just watched his form in the movies, and they say that he goes to the range all the time and owns a bunch of guns, so he can shoot. He can ride motorcycles, evidently very well. And he can fly aircraft, evidently very well. So, is he Ethan Hunt? No.
Of course not.
But
that's a movie.
He's very skilled, though.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise
like I said,
skilled.
they do give you enough skills to like make it at least look believable on
I can't fly an aircraft.
Me neither.
I've never flown one. Do I think I could get one on the ground? Yeah. I could land it, but maybe that plane probably wouldn't survive.
I could land it, but probably everyone would.
It's going to bust
die.
the plane. Well, if it's a little Cessna or something, I'm pretty.
It's easy to land it.
Yeah. No, that's not what I mean. I don't mean driving into the ground.
I'm just kidding, Tom.
I could land it, but I would probably flip it too. But I think I could get everybody on the ground alive, but that plane's going to be fucked up. I know the basic concept. I've flown some simulators. That would simulate that, but they were old simulators a long time ago. But
yeah, I've done that too.
I know the concepts, what you have to do, and the most challenging thing is when you're high up in the air and you look at the runway, the landing strip. It looks tiny.
Yeah.
And fucking wow, how am I gonna land on that?
I can't land on that.
Yeah. You just got to point the nose right at the front of that fucking landing strip. Eventually, it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and pull up and land on it, cut fucking power, and try to fucking throttle down, and then fucking whatever you have for brakes, and then you're gonna have to fucking use the fucking pedals to fucking steer the back.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I could pick it up. I was flying in a Cessna with my dad and his friends, and I reached up there and grabbed the shit and did it like that. It's just like anything else, but I was a kid, and that's not the same as landing it.
Well, and if you were in a position where you were forced to land a plane, it would probably be like a really stressful situation. So there would be that on top of it.
Yeah, I'd be looking at everything. Fucking.
You know what I mean?
I probably would kill the power as soon as I got down close to the fucking runway. You know what I mean? A couple 100 feet off the ground, I'd probably cut the engine off, or throttle way down, and then just let the front of it hit and pull up and fucking let it hit the fucking ground. You'd probably be bouncing and shit, because there's gonna be a bunch of ground effect of fucking wind blowing off your prop and your wings blowing back up and fucking, because it wants to be a hovercraft during the landing. You got to push down. I know that, but I've never done it. There's a big difference.
Yeah, like thinking about it, doing a simulator and actually doing it in real life, like in a stressful situation, those are two completely different things.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I could get it on the ground and everybody alive, but that plane's gonna get fucked up. It'll probably roll it.
Yeah, Xander said at least Arnold Schwarzenegger can laugh at himself. Seagal just sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you watch that video of Arnold with the scar, you can't help but laugh and like the guy. Seagal can't pull that energy off. Yeah, like I said, it's just that Seagal is just not likable. And honestly, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I like a lot more of his movies than Seagal is. I don't think he's maybe as likable to me as maybe some other people find him. Like, I find him like I said, like a little bit cocky. But at least he's a little bit more willing to laugh at himself. I kind of feel like a person that can't laugh at themselves or doesn't have like some kind of self-deprecating humor or gets like really uptight about somebody making fun of them, even just joking or something like that, that's a person you like need to watch out for. You know what I mean? A person that takes themselves too seriously, it's someone you don't want to hang out with, and there's also like something really wrong with that person. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't like to hang out with people like that.
What are you talking about? Arnold?
Yeah. And then Xanada said Bruce Lee was personable. You could listen to him talk and feel like you knew the guy, and he was also intelligent.
Yeah.
And that has a lot to do with fighting, ring IQ, they call it in boxing.
And women loved him. He was evidently like one of the like first.
Who, Arnold or Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee. He was one of the first
I could see
Asian male sex symbols.
I could see that. Yeah, I thought he was like super sexy.
When he was on the Green Hornet.
Yeah.
They noticed through like all the Nielsen stuff. Remember when they did polls? They noticed that a lot of women watched the Green Hornet, and it was because of Kato.
Yeah.
They thought that dude, he was in a little mask and shit, you know what I mean? And he'd go out and fucking fight. But evidently, like, the white girls took notice of him.
That's kind of funny to me because it's just, it was kind of like, and we've talked about this before, like Star Trek, everybody was expecting everybody to be all into like Captain Kirk and stuff like that. But then it turned out that like a large portion of the female audience was into Spock.
Yeah.
And like everybody was like super surprised by that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Because Spock was unattainable. That was the guy you couldn't have. He was another species. But he could still love you, but he couldn't do it. Because it wasn't within his rules. So he was the ultimate hard-to-get guy.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's what it is. And he's a very cool character. And
Spock's my favorite. He's like my spirit animal.
And you got to give a lot of credit. You got to give a lot of credit to fucking Leonard Nimoy because Leonard Nimoy actually wrote that character.
I mean, he kind of mostly.
He was a generic alien character at first. And
he wasn't even played by Leonard Nimoy on the pilot.
Yeah, he was.
Or was he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He was.
I was thinking of.
It was a totally different character though.
Yeah.
He's laughing and smiling.
Yeah, that's right.
He was a generic
That's
alien.
what I was thinking of.
But as the series went on, and to the credit of the writers, they listened to the actors and the actors' ideas for the characters. And they're going, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Idea, yeah.
So most of the shit about Vulcan and the way Vulcans were, this shit that fucking Leonard Nimoy made up. And a lot of it was based upon Jewish culture. Kind of like Orthodox Jewish culture. It's just an alien version of that.
Yeah.
The Vulcans were the Jews, basically. That's what we're talking about. But he was I would say Nimoy probably the first Jewish American sex symbol.
Maybe so, but I mean, you'd probably have to go back farther.
Probably
than
go
that,
by Silver Screen. There may have been some.
Yeah,
but
I kind of feel
in
like
the modern
probably.
era for the boomers, I would say fucking Spock, man. That's Leonard Nimoy.
I love Spock.
They were trying to throw panties at that dude.
I get it.
But he was actually very strict, stern with his family, very much into like fucking he was very orthodox, very fucking straight laced. He was fucking I know a lot of liberals liked him. If they want to talk. He wasn't liberal. He was a conservative. He was a Jewish conservative. But good man, no. They was kind of strict with his family and had rules and shit. He was the head of the household. But it's so funny, man. Fucking, they'd have fucking Nimoy on those fucking William Shatner roasts at fucking Leonard Nimoy would go there. Bill, I wish I could be there, but fucking I don't have time to see you anymore. Shit like that. Everybody knew that you were always an asshole. Just fucking funny.
One of that William Shatner roast was one of the funniest.
Yeah, Leonard Nimoy just roasted the fuck out of William Shatner.
I mean, so bitchy.
Yeah,
I was there for it.
But to get back to Arnold, because Arnold was mentioned. Arnold was also an actor, but he wasn't fake. He did a lot of military roles, Commando and Predator and shit like that. Arnold was a real soldier. He was in the Austrian army as a tanker. He was a tank driver. So I think guys that come from backgrounds like that, they're more easy in those roles because they got more confidence because they did carry guns for a living. So it's just, oh yeah, we'll do it again. So they don't feel it's fake, which I think is why Tom Cruise wanted so much training.
Yeah.
He's playing fucking, he goes, man, I'm playing this fucking secret agents and all these dudes and I can't really do anything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go buy my own training. And he bought elite training.
Yeah.
To become a secret agent, basically. If you were to, Tom Cruise is a movie secret agent, basically. He could do everything a secret agent can do, basically. Fly aircraft, shoot guns, ride motorcycles. But he could do it. Would he get his ass kicked? That's not how secret agents act. It's just something off of Hollywood,
Well, no.
Movies.
Phantom says Steven Seagal ran like he was always sneaking contraband in his cavity to prison inmates.
Yeah.
He did, yeah. Like I said.
Fucking Seagal.
Phantom also said, excellent top 1984 horror film review, Jenny. Thank you very much. I know, I know a couple of you been, because that's like a long-running series I've been doing over on Scare Salon.
Yeah.
If you are not subscribed to me over there, you probably should. I don't post on there as much as I post on here, but I do try to post on there sometimes. And I have a series on there where I'm doing like my top 5 favorite horror movies from every year since I was born. So the one that I just put up yesterday or the day before was 1984.
Yeah.
it's gonna take me forever to get through this.
Xanadu mentions that people forget that Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California for 8 years. Yeah, he was.
I didn't forget.
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people use it. Yeah, he was in the Republican Party, but he wasn't really a Republican. He was very Californian. He was a California Republican.
He was pretty chill.
He was he was part of the California scene. He was just going. One thing I will say about Schwarzenegger as a governor is that he was very moderate, and he went with the California flow. He didn't do anything against California's normal flow. He didn't try to change it. He just tried to make it better. That's all. California needs help now, though. Fucking a lot of the country does. It's got really bad leadership just across the fucking board. Because who wants to fucking serve that federal government? Or the media is just going to attack you, you know. So, but I think it's all going to be sorted out in this election when the war starts. This next election is not going to end well. Doesn't matter who wins.
Mike says Days of Thunder is underrated, better than Top Gun.
Yeah, I saw it in the movie theater when it came out.
I did not like Days of Thunder.
I saw it
I guess because it was based around NASCAR, and I grew up in Daytona, which is a big NASCAR hub, and I was just kind of like over it. So I didn't like it, but I didn't like Top Gun either, really.
I saw it when it came out in fucking Laurel Theater in Mississippi. And I remember thinking it was just okay, but it didn't stick with me. I don't remember anything about it.
I don't either, other than like not liking it.
Yeah. I had to see it again, though. I'd see it again.
Yeah, Xanadu said Days of Thunder is good if you like racing, which I don't.
All right.
So, to me, it just seemed like car racing and Tom Cruise being smarmy. No thanks. Two things I don't like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, there's that. I think Nicole Kidman was in that shit too, wasn't she?
Maybe.
As the love interest.
Probably.
Isn't that where they met?
I think so.
Because wasn't he was married to Mimi Rogers before that, right?
Maybe he met Mimi Rogers on it.
No, he met Mimi Rogers like before that.
Okay.
I thought he met Nicole Kidman on the Days of Thunder set. But I could be wrong about that. Yeah, Victor said Days of Thunder is so boring if you don't like racing.
Is it boring? Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I thought too. But how did I even end up seeing it? I didn't go to the theater or nothing. It must have just been on cable.
There's one where he plays a bartender, and I've heard it's good.
Yeah, Cocktail.
I heard it's good. Is it good?
I didn't like it. I did see that one in the theater. I don't know why. Probably because I was with a friend that wanted to see it.
Okay.
If you like Tom Cruise and you like smarminess and you like beaches, then okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't into it. I wasn't into it. It was a bunch of stuff I didn't like.
So it didn't have a decent story, is what you're saying?
I don't even remember what the story was, to be honest. I just remember Tom Cruise being like, "Hey, I'm the best at everything. Like, I'm the best bartender that ever existed. Like, flipping shit around everywhere."
I think I saw it. I remember him doing fucking bartending drinks and juggling shit.
And I was like, "Okay, so now what?"
And they made being a bartender look cool. And then right after that, I think a movie called Coyote Ugly came out, which was girls doing the same thing. And I think it was based on fucking that part.
Coyote Ugly, I think, came out, was that several years later?
Yeah. But I remember drawing a parallel.
Cocktail was like 87, 88, something like that. Coyote Ugly was more like 2000.
No, Coyote Ugly was 90-something.
Was it?
Yeah, more like 93, 94.
I thought it was later
93. No, it came out when I was in the Army.
Victor says Cocktail made me gay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Tom Cruise is gonna make a motherfucker gay. That's how he.
Xana said, "Does any Tom Cruise movie have a decent story?"
Yeah, fucking right. Interview with a Vampire was.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't really count because that was based on a good book.
The Mission Impossible series. It's kind of spotty because some of the movies are dated. There's like a John Woo movie, but John Woo directed one of them, he was a hit director at the time. But the Mission Impossible movies are very good.
Some of them are.
They're very good, yeah. The newer they are, the better they got.
Yeah, the original ones I didn't like that much.
Yeah,
because they were a little bit.
They were movies of their times, yeah.
But yeah.
Trying to think what else he did that I liked.
I loved Eyes Wide Shut, but it's like I didn't like Tom Cruise in it though.
I just don't. I'm just not anti Tom Cruise. I don't really. He doesn't really like bring out the disgust like he does in you. He doesn't make me mad.
I don't know. He just pisses me off or something.
He just seems kind of normal. He just seems like him. Now, I fucking really like Collateral. If you haven't seen
Collateral's good.
That's where Tom Cruise plays he's
good when he's playing an asshole.
He's a really good assassin in it.
When he's playing an asshole, he's golden.
Yeah, I want to see that one again. Yeah, he's better with villains.
Victor said Legend was good. Yeah, I think Legend was good because it was a whole fantasy thing. Like Tim Curry was in it playing like the devil. Like fucking, It was Mia Sara was in it. It was just like a lot. There was a lot going on, and he was just like a little part of it.
Yeah.
So I think that was like.
But I'm not gonna go down the road that Tom Cruise is shit, because that bitch can deliver at the box office if the movie's good. That Top Gun 2 fucking
just because something
nailed
is
it.
popular doesn't mean it's any good.
But he's a movie star.
I'm not saying that.
He's the last.
I'm just saying for some reason, like he mostly just pisses me off.
He's the last of the real movie stars. He can command movie star like fucking box office numbers.
He's good in some movies.
He's very good.
He was good in Magnolia. I liked Minority Report and stuff like that. But usually, I liked Interview with the Vampire.
He was in a great movie I like called Oblivion, where he played a clone.
He was good in that.
He played a clone.
He was good in that too.
And the aliens had invaded and shit. He was real good in it. So I don't jump on the fucking Tom Cruise shit bandwagon or his movies or suck. No, his movie.
It's not everyone. Bandwagon. It's just me.
Yeah, not everyone can have hits all the time, but in general, the body of work that I've seen has been ranging from good to awesome. I really liked the later fucking Mission Impossible. Super good.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not against him as a person.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Scientologist, which is always going to make me look askance.
I think that's what it is.
But
you don't like Scientology.
Well, I don't like that either.
Yeah.
But even before I knew he was a Scientologist, like even back in the 80s, like I don't like.
He has a cocky demeanor.
Yeah, I don't really like that.
I like
that. It pisses me off.
I liked the cocky demeanor because fucking I do that sometimes, and I know what characters are like and what they're thinking. They're psyching themselves up to do shit.
Yeah, I get it.
That's all it is. A lot of times the cockiness is just part of the ritual of psyching yourself up. Because confidence fucking wins out, man. Confidence and endurance.
My first instinct every time I see somebody acting like that is like, get over yourself. So my first instinct is always to like want to knock them down some pegs.
You don't do that with me?
Sometimes I do.
Yeah. It's just you don't like that particular guy.
I don't. Well, I said, I don't like cockiness. I don't like arrogance. I don't like. And if you start like talking about, "Ooh, I'm so awesome," blah blah blah, I'm just gonna like fucking try to undermine. You know.
I love bravado. Being partially raised, from the South.
Because I'm just like, knock it off.
Partially raised in Brazil.
You're just like everybody else.
Latin and Latino guys are fucking big into bravado. It's just part of the male culture, and we don't really take it that seriously. All right. You just can't fat mouth. You start fat mouthing another man, he could kill you in these cultures. They're honor-based cultures. They'll defend their culture, their honor. So what you do is you psych yourself up. I'm gonna beat this. I can do this. It's mostly that. Oh, it'll never. You'll never be able. So I just that fucking cockiness that he had. It didn't turn me off. I just was like, yeah, okay.
You're not a woman.
It's his style. He was popular with women though, and that's the thing that you want to admit. He's very popular with women. A lot of women like him.
What do you mean? It's like I admit that. It's just like I don't like him.
Yeah.
I would never in a million years generalize my experience to other people's experience. It's like I personally don't like him. I think he's annoying. I just want to smack him most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, you know what I mean?
I think probably over the years more women probably liked him more than they disliked him. I think he probably wanted because all you gotta do is just look at the box office numbers.
Well,
a lot of women would go see him.
Like I said, but I've always been one of those people. It's just like just because some shit's popular, that doesn't mean I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, doesn't mean it's not good though.
Because I'm not everybody.
It's just not your taste.
And it also doesn't mean it's good or it's bad.
Yeah, it's just not your taste.
Because sometimes like a lot of people like some really stupid shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I like what I like. I don't worry about what other people like.
You see,
he gets on my nerves. Yeah, and that's just me.
Mainstream kind of tentpole movies are kind of, for the general population, they're trying to cast the widest net possible. So it's going to be dumbed down.
Yeah.
But I have to say that most of the movies I've seen of his that are kind of like that type of movie, trying to cast a pretty wide net, actually have pretty good qualities about them compared to the competition. So I would say his movies are... Like his tentpole movies, I think, are a little bit better than other tentpole movies. I think they're pretty good.
It depends on what it is.
Okay, what would be the Mission Impossible series? Yeah, that was like a tentpole movie.
Yeah, those are okay.
I thought they were on par with Daniel Craig, James Bond.
I like Bond a lot.
I prefer Bond better. Yeah, Daniel Craig. But it's like kind of like an American response to that. Similar. You could definitely tell that they were watching those movies.
Well, yeah.
The way they're edited and fucking.
That's why they
together.
went a lot more like serious and witty.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to do the
making sure that
thing.
Bond wouldn't upstage him, which it did anyway. But I'll watch Mission Impossible. The later ones are really good.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of them in the theater actually.
1 and 2 is they're kind of old.
Well, they're kind of cheeseball.
Yeah, cheesy.
They were trying to do more like the original series, which was kind of cheeseball.
Yeah.
Which, like, I get that. They were trying to, like, get that tone.
But I remember Fallout being really good.
Yeah, he's been in some good movies. And like I
Yeah.
said, you always kind of, like, act like I just, like, hate him across the board. I don't.
Yeah.
It's like, I've seen him in a lot of movies, and a lot of movies that I liked. I'm just saying that in general, like, he usually, like, gets on my nerves.
I just want to make sure that, the artist gets the credit that's deserved. Even if you don't like him. I probably couldn't hang out with him. I probably wouldn't like him. But I will give credit to his work. I think he puts out some good movies that were fun that I enjoyed. That means he did his job.
Now they're all talking about Leonardo DiCaprio. And Xanadu said, I'll glaze Leo DiCaprio all day. He's the best actor of the millennial
that's
generation.
the thing that kind of fucking... Xanadu sent us some DiCaprio flicks. I watch him. The more I watch him, the more I like
that
him.
bitch, man. He
can
started
act.
out... Yeah, like he started out as like a young pretty boy.
Pretty
like,
boy, kind of lightweight. Yeah. So I didn't take him seriously, but no,
because he's real baby face.
Yeah.
But like as he went on, I was like, holy crap, that dude's amazing.
The first movie I saw him in that I took him seriously in was Romeo and Juliet when it came out. I thought that was an awesome flick.
And he was pretty young.
And he was real young. I thought he was great in it, but I thought that was just kind of like all he was, because there was a lot of supporting cast and everything was really good. I just thought that it was kind of a one-off. No, he got older. He got better, man. Fucking the next movie I remember seeing that had him in it was The Aviator. It was about Howard Hughes. And I had read books about Howard Hughes. And fucking, he did a great job portraying Howard Hughes. Real good. And it's not really a fun movie to watch. But that's the way Howard Hughes kind of was. It had injuries and all towards the end. And I was like, that dude could act. But really, later on, fucking seen him in Blood Diamond.
Blood Diamond, The Departed.
Departed, yeah.
Shutter Island.
Yeah, I didn't see Shutter Island.
Yeah, we did. We reviewed it.
Which one was that? That was
the one where they went to the creepy ass fucking island.
Yeah.
Him and that other cop.
Yeah.
We just reviewed it like a couple months ago.
That's right.
We just reviewed it a couple months ago.
I just forgot the name of it.
Yeah, Shutter Island.
Yeah, just forgot the name of it. Yeah, he's good at that.
But yeah, he's like...
DiCaprio can act.
I mean, Blood Diamond's great.
Yeah.
I fucking love Blood Diamond. Inception, yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Xander said Tom loved Shutter Island. Yeah, he didn't remember he watched the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just forgot the name of it.
That's what it was. Yeah, and they're talking about What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Yeah, like he should have got an Oscar for that, as Victor said. Like when he was, he was just kind of a kid then.
But another thing that impressed me is that Brad Pitt can act. He's good.
Yeah, he's another one that kind of surprised me.
I didn't think that dude could act.
He can.
I just thought he was all just about
and
face.
he's funny. Yeah. Like he can be in like black comedy and stuff like that, and he's like really good in it. He has like really good like comedic timing.
When I saw him in 12 Monkeys, and he was acting crazy, I was like, he's doing a good job acting crazy, but that's probably all there is to that dude. Okay. But no, the body of his work fucking built up over the years. Fucking Brad Pitt, he's not just all about looks, man. He's fucking good.
Yeah.
Fight Club, that's a masterpiece, bro. And fucking he's good through the whole fucking movie. Yeah, Fight Club was awesome.
Yeah, that's a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
That's a great fucking movie.
Another one I'm going to give credit to, Jesse Eisenberg. Not so much his mainstream shit. His mainstream shit's just normal. The little side projects that he does. Like fucking Art of Self-Defense and fucking Vivarium. He and that girl, I think it's his girlfriend, I guess, get involved in these fucking...
I don't know if it is, but...
They work together.
Imogen Poots.
Yeah. Is that her name? Imogen Poots? Yeah, Poots. I guess they just know each other. In those two movies they work together, they're fucking great movies. And I don't know if he's made any more. If he's got any other movies that are like that, drop in the comment section.
We saw a trailer for one that was coming out that looked kind of like just like a buddy hangout movie. What the fuck?
That's right. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it though.
Yeah, it looked like it was a funny movie.
Yeah, it did look pretty funny, but it's just like it didn't seem like it had a plot or nothing, but it
Right.
just seemed like a kind of a hangout kind of movie.
Yeah.
Which that's fine.
Eisenberg's got real good taste in fucking art films, like fucking Art of Self-Defense and fucking Vivarium. Vivarium.
I'll get about for Vivarium. I
Vivarium
fucking
was
love
great.
that movie.
It's a great fucking art.
And we've seen it like several
It's
times.
an art horror movie. I got it on Blu-ray. I'd be fucking pausing it.
It's
trying
like a
to-
really, really good like Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
Which I'm into.
Extra-dimensional fucking parasites making you raise their children. Yeah.
Phantom brings up Late Phases. Honestly, I should probably review that because that's a great fucking movie. I've seen it. I just don't think I've reviewed it. It's a great fucking werewolf movie if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's Spanish, right? Is it Spanish or Argentinian? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it's really, I think they made a sequel, but I haven't seen that one, but I've seen the first one. Yeah, Tammy said Burn After Reading was good, talking about Brad Pitt. Yeah, that was a great fucking movie. I think I saw that in the theater also. But yeah, that's another one that I recommend if you haven't seen it. All right, so it's almost 11.
Yeah, we can shut it down.
Should we probably, and we stopped talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I said I did review Late Phases? Okay. I didn't remember doing that. Oh yeah, maybe I did. Okay, I don't remember. I've reviewed so many movies I can't even remember.
All right, so we'll see you guys on Friday.
Okay, so Friday, we're going to my mom's house.
Yeah.
So
we may not do a show.
We're still gonna do the show, but it's like I don't know if it'll be later or I mean we'll probably be back because we're going there like early in the day.
Okay.
So, but if it's later, I'll try to keep you guys apprised. We're still gonna do the show up Friday night, but it might be a little bit later that we come on. It depends on what time we get back. But yeah, we're gonna go see my mom and my sister on Friday. So, but like I said, I'll let you guys know if it's gonna be later or whatever. All right. So thank you everybody for dropping by this evening. Like I said, man, the topic only took like an hour, so then we had like a whole 2-hour sidetrack show on top of it. But that's always fun. So thanks everybody for stopping by. Thanks for your super chats. We will see you guys again sometime on Friday night. Good night.